All
Oh
right.
my God!
Hey everyone, Luke here with Red and Sid once again, and today we are going to be talking about some One Piece fights. So this will be fights from the beginning of the series to Whole Cake Island. Nothing
Randomized.
Pardon?
No, they're
on my screen. The order seems like randomized.
Yeah, that it's randomized because that's just the way they came out in the when I was going through the list. And it's kind of like in alphabetical. It was kind of like in alphabetical order at some point.
I had my list ready and everything.
Yeah, well,
I made the list, so
yeah, you made the list, so I'm sorry about
you
that.
can still do it by the list, and then he could just find it, and click that.
Make him do it the hard way.
Yeah.
I mean, we could.
I mean,
however you want to do it, I don't care. I mean, I'm pretty sure like One Piece is one of the handful of series that I have like basically all the way memorized. So like, and you can do it in whatever order you want.
Yeah, and I was going through like the fights for the last 2 days just to get my memory caught up on them. So so that's kind of what I've
One Piece for me is like how Dr. Stone is for you, Luke. Like I don't even like I've probably seen the anime at least 3 times. And, and
I always go back to like look at the because I've got the anime of Dr. Stone on DVD, so I can always like just pop it in my DVD combo, just put an episode on and watch it.
DVD.
Yeah. Well, it's Dr. Stone. I make an exception for
just
that.
In case one day the worldwide internet goes down and you have to watch Dr. Stone in your apocalypse bunker.
Yeah.
Very important.
And again, Dr. Stone is pretty much the modern day One Piece because you've got them traveling around the world.
Kind of. I mean, it's definitely got elements.
Each location is a different arc. So you've had the North America arc, and now you've got the South
America.
Yeah, and
then they're always picking up Nakama as well.
And you've got backstories going in, like with Cena and Stanley.
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking
as much as I respect Dr. Stone for not having like shonen fighty elements. If it had shonen fighty elements, I'd probably that'd move it up like top.
It has had it quite a bit in the last couple of chapters, but probably not the action.
I meant like powers and shit. But I'm glad it makes it more unique.
Yeah, but anyway, we're not talking about Dr. Stone today. We're talking about One Piece.
Shit.
I think
we're gonna rank literally every single fight in the series.
Well, not every single fight.
Every fight that goes beyond a panel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I'm glad that we don't have the Captain Morgan fight because then we would have to talk about the hammer gun.
Oh well. First of all, no, we don't because we're not fucking acknowledging 4Kids. Okay.
Yeah. No, we're not.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna be right back. My boss from work is calling me, so just continue. I'm gonna mute. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll just start with Luffy versus Buggy. Buggy was the first Devil Fruit user that Luffy fought because didn't Alpha not get the Devil Fruit until later?
Yeah, she got the Devil Fruit later. So basically, the way I've selected this list, it's anime only. It's all the major fights that every member of the Straw Hat gets at least one. And there's basically it's either end boss or end general kind of fight, the final parts of those arc, or a heavily emotional kind of thing.
Definitely.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all right.
That's cool.
We have Buggy then.
Yeah, so Luffy versus Buggy. It's the first Devil Fruit versus Devil Fruit fight. Because you're right, Alvida doesn't get hers until like way later. Where she just shows up and she's suddenly really thin.
Yeah. Also, Alvida was like, I remember when I started the series, that fight felt very Saturday morning cartoonish. And that was, I remember, one of the impediments of me getting into the series for a long time. I thought it was like just going to be stupid and a little kiddish.
It was.
But with Luffy versus Buggy, I really like this fight. I've liked Buggy's power for a long time. Like just the ability to just separate your limbs for anyone. It kind of reminds me of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I really liked when Oda like expanded upon it as well. And obviously this doesn't factor into the ranking of this fight, but like the expanded upon this power in Impel Down, where it's like, and he can fly if someone's carrying his feet, because essentially he can, he has a spear where he can float around. And it's really well detailed power. Like it kind of goes into almost like Hunter x Hunter range with how well detailed this power becomes.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, and also probably one of the more unique ways to end the fight. Get right, family
We can never
jewels.
forget the ball kick, of course, the tying up half of his body parts, and then
Yeah.
he becomes midget Buggy, where he gets bazookaed off into a cover story.
It's so good.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Also, as well with Buggy as well, you don't expect much from him, and then you find out like, wait, he was an apprentice on Roger's
I
crew.
love that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's the first big thing, and it's like, oh, actually, no, you're a huge deal. You're just a bit of a massive loser.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do
which
appreciate
is
how
why.
important Buggy becomes too.
Which
Like,
is why
it's
I-
funny because in the beginning, like no one is like hyped about Buggy, but nowadays I'm like, I can't wait to see Buggy again.
Yes.
And this
Yes.
this whole fight actually leads into a really interesting it's like kind of filler but kind of not. They were covering the cover story, and obviously like if you watch the anime, you get a whole like pair of episodes of him like on that island with the bird. And reuniting with his crew and all that shit, and it is really interesting. And I wish the anime did that more. Just cover the cover stories.
Yeah,
like, that'd be
yeah.
way
If
better
they,
than all the
want,
fucking
they
fillers
don't
do.
want to do, if they don't want to do filler, just do the cover stories.
Seriously.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's enough of them. I mean,
Yeah.
they couldn't go back and do ones, but
yeah.
still.
But as for the fight itself, though, I think it's okay. I think it has an interesting ending. But
Yeah.
I would put it honestly average or below average. Like it's okay, but it's not.
I can agree with average.
I'd agree with average because it's like it's the first Devil Fruit Devil thing. So at the time, it's like, whoa, this fight is huge, and obviously Buggy's quite a big sort of villain to go up against. But like later on, you know, fights just get balls to the wall, insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna. If since YouTube say average, we'll go for average. But I'm gonna put out there that I probably would have went below average because there's so much greatness to come. You know, I'm trying to leave room for the greatness.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, but I just
Yeah.
want to say, the fact that Boogie was an apprentice on Roger's crew, that kind of makes me again want Otama to join Luffy's crew
Ew.
to be an apprentice pirate.
No,
No, it's not going to happen.
I know it's
It's
not
going
going to
to be-
happen.
there's only
It's
so
going-
much screen time. Like already, most of the Straw Hats don't get screen time, and you want to fucking put Otama in that mix? Get out of here.
Well, in the popularity poll, she beat Kaido.
Gross.
She beat.
Why?
She
Ew.
literally beat
Yeah.
Kaido.
Internet
So
popularity poll going on right now.
no, the big popularity poll on One Piece characters. She worldwide. She beat.
Right, but the one that's happening on
Kaido.
the internet.
Yeah, she beat Kaido.
I mean, isn't that one a bit shitposty though? Like people are voting for like Wanze and fucking.
I mean, yeah, you're always going to get like when Tekken did his best boobs of One Piece, he put Big Mom on there as a joke, and loads of people voted
Exactly.
for it. To go
I
really
don't know.
high as a joke.
Fair
I'm a-
enough. Fair enough.
Like,
For me, if you want, I think that the reason that the Grand Fleet exists is so Oda can have a place to like put people that he wants to be involved with the Straw Hats, but that aren't interesting enough to like be actual Straw Hats too. Like that's the whole
Fair
point of the Grand
enough.
Fleet.
that's
Fair
a good point. If they're going to have a new one, it's either gonna be Carrot or Yamato.
At
If-
this point,
if
Carrot has
they're
flown the
doing-
coop to me. Like she had a chance to be important, and it's too late. Like
She
it's
has got pushed to the side. She has got massively pushed to the side.
Yeah.
very annoying
Fair-
actually
fair
because I was
enough.
all for Carrot, but she's just so background. Like if he wanted Carrot to be part of it, he should have had. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's a debate for
Luffy-
another day.
Luffy versus how do you pronounce his name?
Wait, are we not doing? I thought Zoro versus the fucking unicycle guy was on here. Kabuji.
No, it was here, but then it was like, we'll take that off because it was like it's an all right fight.
That's fair enough.
Like
Yeah.
I wanted to cut it down, and then Luke, like when he messaged you guys, were like, "Oh no, add all the pre-time skip ones as well." I was like, I had 42 fights now, and I cut that down, and I managed to
It'll
get
go
it to like
quicker than you
30
think. I
something.
promise.
Yeah,
Are you talking about? Is it Luffy versus Kuroda?
Kuro.
Corona. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I like this fight.
Oh, definitely. Kuro is
yeah.
he's one of those villains who's like the one who plays the long game because how long was he actually playing that
I
game?
believe it was 5 years.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
5 years.
Because
Yeah.
have either of you seen Nun Piece, the One Piece abridged?
Yes.
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
it's so good. So you've seen it, Sid?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's
You
been
know,
a while,
the
but
reason I remember the 5 years, he's like, why was I a butler for? No, it was 3 years. I just remember. Oh, no, it's 3 years. He was like, why was I a butler for 3 years? He's like, look, I don't know. Why couldn't it have been like 1.5?
yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I love it. I just love One Piece. It's so
I don't
good.
know. Like, so for this one, I think the main thing that I liked about this fight, I think he definitely upped the game from Buggy, which is why I wanted Buggy at below average because I would have put this one
Well,
above Buggy.
we can
Well,
we can
he's-
change it. We can change
Right.
it. but
I'm
book
just
it
gonna
in
keep
colour,
bitching.
So he's so
But,
cool.
what I'm gonna say about this one, and then I'll lead you guys through. You don't have to. Don't just listen to me. I want a
Okay.
consensus if we're gonna do it. But what I'll say about this fight is, I really like the way he set up the Kuro's fighting style. Like the glasses adjusting thing. That shit's legendary. I love that.
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah, and then that mixed with like the move, the cat out of the bag attack, which is a very strange name for the move, of course. But like the whole like, I'm just gonna shut off all logical reasoning. I'm gonna go into complete autopilot mode and just the leaning thing he did. It was very unique, and I remember at the time because this was probably only the second or third anime I watched after like binging. I think I binged Dragon Ball Z, Death Note, Bleach, Naruto, and then this. And at the time, I was like, that's really creative. So yeah, I think as early One Piece fights go, this is one of the best. So I would put it at
definitely. And you've pretty much said what I was gonna say, Red. I just want to read some of these comments that are coming through now. So we've got Blazing Boy, Otama won't join, Songetsu Blight 92, Grandmaster Tama is above that, Luke.
Cringe. Get out of here. No, Tama is going to be the true villain of Wano when she fucking feeds Kaido Dango.
It's not what people were saying about. Isn't that what people were saying about Phil from the Promised Neverland? And then look at
Phil's the big
wasted potential.
What's Blazing? What's your fave pre time skip fight? Oh, we'll probably say that at some point.
Oh, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, so
cool.
Put Luffy vs. Karu in average.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah, there we go. That looks a lot better.
No,
that's fair.
Yeah. Now this fight, Zoro versus Mihawk.
I'll let you guys talk first, but then I got a lot of shit to say.
Okay, I legitimately love this fight. I love this fight because it's the fact that you don't expect it coming this early.
Yep.
Especially from someone like Mihawk, and you're there thinking like Zoro's just been steamrolling through everything so far, and you think like, is he ready for Mihawk?
Well, we don't even know Mihawk at this point. Like, in the manga too, it's so much more hype in the manga. Well, obviously in the anime, I think it said this too, but it was in Japanese, so I couldn't read it. But in the manga, it's just like the world's strongest swordsman, and you're like, what chapter is this? 50?
Yeah, and then you just see Mihawk there, just like, what is your goal? To beat you. And he's there, just like, okay, I'm gonna fight you with just this really
tiny
small
little toothpick. This tiny dagger.
Tiny toothpick.
So at first, there's a cool narrative playing out through this story, right? So at first, he's like, okay, you're probably just one of the thousands of people that challenge me. And then like there comes the moment where after like he sees how hard he tries and he's like, okay, I respect that. But then the big thing that he respects is where he's like, he's not going to run away. He's not going to fight. He's like, I'm going to take this cut. He's like, all right, you know what? Let me take out my good sword. That's pretty fucking cool of you. And he senses the drive in Zoro there. So there's that mixed with the fact, like you all said, how early it comes. I always look at this moment as like Oda, obviously, Oda didn't know how long the series was going to be, but like looking back on it, it's really cool because this series is like going to go down as one of the longest anime of all time, one of the longest fictions of all time. And I look at this moment here as like, it's like if Oda reached into the future and pulled out like a post time skip enemy and like plopped him here in the fucking East Blue. You know what I mean? Like that's and it's so good for power scaling because it like imagine like it'd be like if in Dragon Ball like they're fighting Raditz and then someone's like, and here's Beerus. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
And that's what's so cool about this because every time I'm watching this with a friend, like I'm getting a new friend into One Piece or whatever, Mihawk shows up and I'm like, this guy where I'm at is still top tier. Like
and I was just gonna say recently when we've gone like, oh, they're no longer warlords and they're going after Mihawk and he's there, and you're there thinking like, don't these guys have anything better to do? Didn't they see him at Marineford? He literally got up.
Just that they have at least one admiral on that shit. Like they have to.
He's gonna just.
They can't be that stupid. Like there has to be an admiral.
And even then, they're still being stupid because what has Mihawk really done? I mean, they just made him a pirate because they had nothing else to put him in. No other category to put him in because he's not doing anything.
He's just chilling out on his island.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
He's just chilling out on his island, being the coolest ever. And then it's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll be a warlord. Cool. Oh, I get paid. Yeah, right then. And then
do they get paid? I thought it was.
Yeah, they did.
They get paid.
We won't.
Yeah, they do.
No,
Also,
yeah, they get full on
money
paid. They
you
get
give us like half.
Yeah, no, they get paid. They got full on paid. And
I think they pay the Marines.
No?
You'd think that would be the case,
But
but
I thought that was hold on, straight up. I just want to make sure because like I remember in the Arlong arc, that was like the fucking rat-faced Marine would come and he'd be like, "All right, I'm going to take my cut now." I always thought that was how that worked.
but that's because that guy was corrupt and he was turning a blind eye to Arlong because Arlong was just a pirate. He was just a
Right.
dick. He wasn't like because Thingy's a warlord of the sea. Because Warlords of the Sea are an actual historic thing, weren't they? They were actual pirates that the
Yeah.
Marines were like,
Sure.
"You're so powerful. How about you work for us and we'll just like we'll forgive you for your crimes, kind of ignore some of the bad crap you do, and we'll kind of pay you to keep you from, raping and pillaging and murdering tons of villages. Like,
Very
well, and then, but if we tell you you've got to go fight this war, you've kind of got to go fight this war for us."
Which
Well,
Mihawk wouldn't have done anyway, even if he
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
want
you're right.
to
Just
do
there
it,
to
he wouldn't have
Check out
done it.
Whitebeard, right?
Yeah. It's like things though. I think like you're saying with the power scaling and stuff, like because when we're introducing him, it's the Baratier arc, and
Yeah.
Don Krieg and his men show up, and it's like we got freaking wrecked. There was one dude on a boat, and he
I love that
destroyed our
shit.
entire fleet. I went, wait, what? Like one dude with a sword, and then when he appears, he cuts that freaking ship in half, and it's like,
Yeah, what a
and
goddamn entrance that is.
that's such a good entrance. It's like, oh, that's not physically possible, but he did it like it was nothing. And that's not even like
So, like
that's
One
the-
Piece. Oh, sorry, I keep thinking
It's-
you're done. I apologize.
no, sorry. It's audio and stuff online, and it's like it's just such a flex.
Yeah,
It's such a freaking flex. It's so good.
One
Sorry, now
Piece
I'm done.
is one of those series that like it takes a lot of patience, especially these days. People's attention spans are so short. But like if you can get into it, it's so rewarding because like the power scaling is done so naturally. Like I always tell people with other anime, it feels like they have to like do a lot more jump arounds. Like I'm training and bam. But it feels like in One Piece you see the progression of their power, with the exception of the one time
Yes.
skip, of course.
Yeah.
But like it just feels more natural because it's so long, and I really appreciate that about One Piece. So I guess with this fight, I would put it at excellent. I don't want to go to
Excellent.
God yet.
Definitely.
I do
No
think
Yeah, I
question.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, I do think that the length of it, because it's not a full fight, it's just like Zoro getting stomped, so that prevents it from being God. I imagine
Mm.
when they inevitably fight in post time skip, that one.
That is gonna be God. That is gonna be God tier,
So-
and I love the aftermath of it in Arlong Park when Arlong has him by the throat, and then he just rips off his band. It's like, how is this guy still alive?
Yeah.
This
See,
is-
the
like that's the main villain of that arc. You're terrified of him, and then that's like the one thing he's terrified of.
the reason this fight's in here is because it's an emotional moment for Zorro.
Oh
And
yeah,
yes, it was
Oh, yeah,
freaking awesome,
definitely.
but it's like because it's not really. If you think like in terms of the fights in the arcs, obviously you've got your villain and you've got your generals. You take out the generals and then you take out the villain. It's literally narrative 101. This guy just waltzes in, and it's like a little side story, but it's so awesome. It's so important. Zorro as a character, it's like this is freaking going in there.
Yeah, that's why I said it felt like he just reached into the future, like he reached into chapter 1200 and fucking pulled Mihawk out and plopped him here.
Yeah.
yeah. Now,
you heard it here first, folks. 1,200.
1200. That's when the fight's going down.
Right. The
well,
next
I'm
fight-
saying 1250, the end of One Piece.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Right, the next fight in chronological order, which I've got, is Sanji versus Pearl.
Oh, my God. All right. So I love Sanji. Pearl ain't it though.
Oh no, Pearl was just. It was like his fight against what's the guy he feeds? What's the guy who shows up starving and he feeds him?
Bean. That one's better. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was better, but I should have included that one, but I just was like, it wasn't as big a threat.
That was one of Oda's misses. I like wacky characters. That he didn't do it for me, especially like I don't know if this was like this in the Japanese as well, but in the dub he has like this like voice because when he's smacked up there, he had never felt pain before. It was mostly just cringe. I
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah,
Because he sets himself on fire. What the fudge?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
sets
pearls or being unbreakable. He sets himself on freaking fire.
If anything, that should make him less unbreakable because would it melt the pearls or something?
I don't
Would it
know.
hurt him?
I'm not too
'Cause
sure what the melting point of pearls is, but either way, it was just weird. It
Yeah.
felt out of nowhere. It didn't feel like it matched. I don't know thematically.
Yeah.
So
He was
where
just
would
a
you?
dude.
Yeah, where would you put it?
I'd put it at bad.
Yeah,
Nah,
I'd put it at
And
bad.
honestly,
Yeah.
like I would I don't even think we need the too short category is kind of throwing me off. I don't because that
Well,
Yeah.
I can get rid of that category.
yeah, you can
That's
go
what
and get rid of that one.
That's why, you'll notice that when we get to the Skypiea bit, it's Nami's fighting. That was Nami and Ganful versus those two. Was it the two really fat dudes that were floating around with the bubbles? And like that fight's actually really short, so I was like, I can't be bothered. I'm gonna cut that one because it was just too short.
A reason for it to be bad. I don't think it needs its own category.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
That's fair. So next would be Luffy versus Don Krieg. Is next.
Yeah.
This one, I think it's okay. I like the gas mask element. I remember the moment where he like twists him through the air and then drills him through the dock. That was pretty cool. And then of course the famous moment that everyone remembers where he punches through the spike plate. I think what this fight served to determine was Luffy's just basically like, I don't care about myself or my own well-being. I'm going to do what I have to do. You see this again with the famous moment where he's like, well, guys, I guess I'm dead, when he's about to get killed by Buggy in Logtown. Like, this is just
And you see
the character moment for Luffy, this fight. Fight itself is not super memorable to me, but like there are moments that are okay. So for me, it would go below average.
See, for me, I'd agree it was probably like average, below average, because I like the idea of someone having lots of different gadgets and lots of different weapon gadgets, because he had the spear that exploded, he's got the spike shield, and then it was the whole like, do you know what, bitch? I don't care. You've got you figured out my weakness that I can be hurt by piercing and slashing weapons. I'm just gonna punch you in the face, and it just showed how hardcore Luffy was. So I'd say average or below average, because obviously, like you said, there's better ones coming.
Yeah.
I guess like for me, it's just not super. I think it's because I don't really like Don Krieg that much. Like he's
I was having a hard time going over these fights to actually like, what do I actually remember about this fight? And all I remembered was just seeing an image from the 4Kids dub of the spike being like a suction hook that Luffy popped off him.
It's funny.
Yeah, that was literally what they changed in the 4Kids dub, the spikes to suction hooks.
Hey, at least Netflix with their live action adaptation won't be that stupid.
Yeah, apparently the live action guy is actually like a fan of One Piece. He went on the Reverie thing. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, he did like,
nice.
I think he did an interview with for Neverworld.
Yeah, he's actually talked to a bunch of the anime YouTubers. He seems like he's like a big fan, and he was trying to like clarify, like, I'm going to do my very best to make sure that this is not bad.
Yeah.
That's a video for another time.
Yeah, so Don Krieg versus Luffy, below average.
Yeah.
If you feel strongly about average, we can do a vote.
I don't feel anything strongly, so I agree with below average.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
cool. So next should be Usopp versus Chew.
Oh,
I will say about this one, the hit and run aspect was funny. I really enjoyed him beating him to death with a hammer.
And then it's not even a real hammer.
It's like a wooden mallet, right?
Yeah, it's just a wooden mallet. That's the thing, because it's Usopp's a coward.
Was great. You know, it was fun. To me, it would also be at below average. But I'm curious what you guys think.
Oh, I'm trying to find it. Where is it on here?
While you find out, I'll say like I liked it because it was Usopp's first big fight. He's on his own. He's clearly outgunned by this guy who's just spitting at him.
There it is. I found it.
Even if he wasn't doing his like spit attack, he's a fisherman on land. They're 10 times stronger than an average human. Right. And Usopp is at this stage. He's not as buff because he's not actually, he's blatantly got more muscles as he's been living on the sea.
This is just like fucking prankster village idiot Usopp. He's done. He's got no experience.
He's got no experience. He's literally just what's his Kevin McAllister. He's Kevin McAllister. He's Kevin McAllister in this.
Yeah, because wasn't Oda's entire joke about Usopp is that no matter what, he has to be the weakest out of the Straw Hats.
That's his role. His role is to like be us, essentially, like a normal human on a crew of monsters.
I just said that he's stronger than Nami. To be
perfect, but no, what Luke's saying is true. Oda came out in an interview and said he was the weakest.
Yeah, but it's ironic because I actually think he is stronger than he is
physically stronger. But Nami's got a magical lightning rod.
You're right. I honestly think that Usopp is stronger, but fair enough. If
I
Oda's
agree.
Officially said he's
word of Oda.
Maybe that's Oda
The
channeling
creator
is
said it, therefore
maybe
it's
that's
true.
Oda channeling his inner Usopp because Usopp's known to lie. So maybe that's him channeling his inner
To be fair,
Usopp.
he does troll. He
Maybe
trolls
that's
a lot.
Oda's like low-key sexism, and he doesn't consider Nami a fighter.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You'll know.
think
You'll
the
notice
most
that
mem-
Nami's
Yeah.
only in 2 fights, and Bay is only in 1. When I say Bay, I mean Nika Robin.
Nika
She's in
Robin.
1.
Yeah, I will say the most memorable part about this fight is at the end when Usopp's just whacking him with the mallet and he's just getting back up. He's like, how many times do I have to hit you to just make you go down?
I appreciated the use of Rubber Band of Doom.
Yes.
Because that's true. If you flick it in the eye, you can potentially
Even the
go
most
blind.
powerful people will flinch at the Rubber Band of Doom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, so for me, see, I like it better than the Kuro, or not Kuro, I'm sorry. I like it better than the Don Krieg buggy, but I don't like it as good as the Kuro. So I feel like I have to just go
with below average.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's where I would put it.
I mean, there is a fight coming up here that I like more than this one that involves Usopp because of how insanely wacky it is.
There are fights coming
Oh,
up
yeah.
later that I think most people would probably just be like, "Oh, it was okay," but I stand. Like, there's an Usopp
Yeah,
fight
yeah,
that I
yeah.
consider one of my favorite fights in the series.
Yeah.
That's
I think we're both thinking about the same one. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
So yeah, below average.
Yeah.
Because it's just
So-
the pre-time skip shit. Like, it's good, but it's nothing compared to what we're coming to. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sanji versus
or rather pre-grand line. I apologize.
Karubi?
Karubi. Yeah.
Yes, that's his name.
This one, the biggest thing I remember about this one was the use of water pressure in the fight.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
like
'cause
I thought that was pretty clever. I enjoyed that going up and down. I remember that quite well. I'm trying to remember how it ended. Oh yeah, he like put his fingers in his gills or something.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Because he put him in his gills and then he shot him like a jet, like he was.
Oh yeah, he
basically-
blew into his gills.
blew into, and then he basically did like
He
what?
basically suffocated him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
the use of the I have this like strong visual in my head of him diving down really quickly and Sanji's stomach like concaving. So like for me, I would be comfortable with this one at average because I did enjoy
yeah,
this
definitely.
What I like about why I probably would have said that the Don Krieg and the Usopp versus Shu one should have possibly been average, like for me, same with this one, like average is the technical stuff. And like this is a special ability. How I don't know how to combat it, so I've got to learn it and then find out its weakness. And I like that back and forth, like one-upsmanship in fights. And like technicals, I like that technical kind of stuff because it can also be really
do you read
creative.
JoJo? Because that's all that.
I have only watched the first 2 seasons of JoJo.
Oh, those are the
My
least
current-
good ones.
My current D&D character is called Dio.
Just to remind you real quick, for like I strongly suggest you continue with JoJo because it only gets better every season. And like the first two part 1 is awful, part 2 is like getting okay, part 3 is like wow, this is really good, and then part 4 on is like Jesus Christ, this is amazing.
Fair enough. Okay.
And it's got Luke. What about you with JoJo?
I have not touched JoJo at all.
Oh my god. Okay,
It
I'll
needs to-
tell
it-
you.
It is on the huge
Super
list
fair,
that I've
super
got.
fair. I just want to say this to Sid that you ask anyone that's caught up with JoJo or even like up to like part 4 or 5, they will tell you that some of the best fights in fiction. Period.
Fair enough.
Once Araki nails down the stand power system, which only starts with part 3, and I would argue he only perfects it by part 4, that's like top tier fights.
Okay, I was going to say because the stands I enjoyed them in part 2 in
Stands
Stardust
weren't even
Crusade.
in part 2. There was only Hamon.
Oh, so sorry, yeah. So on Netflix, it's 2 seasons, and season 2 is Stardust Crusade with the stands.
Yeah,
So,
part 3
season
stands are
one-
okay.
yeah.
But they get I promise you, dude. Like by the time you're hitting part 4 and
okay.
5, if you don't like it by then it's just not for you.
Oh no, I freaking loved Stardust Crusade. I thought it was
Good though.
brilliant.
In my opinion,
So-
it only gets better.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. I need to.
It's kind
carry on.
of like what we say about stuff like Doctor Stone. It's like the first few chapters. It gets good when Senku gets to the village.
I highly agree with that. And
Fair
then, like,
enough,
I will
fair
say too about part 4. Part 4 has the main villain of part 4 is like one of my favorite villains in all of anime.
Okay. Okay, I will give it a go. I've got Crunchyroll. Cool. Yeah. Where did we?
Oh yeah,
stop
Sanji.
this?
Do we want to put
Sanji.
Sanji at average?
Average.
Yeah, Sanji average. Yeah. Then it's Zoro versus Hachan.
This one's hella unmemorable to me. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I see. I enjoyed it because Zoro is one of my favorites.
I do like Zoro. I just don't think this is one of his better fights.
Yeah, no, it was one of those weird ones. I remember Zoro gets thrown up into the air and Hitachi's like spinning his swords. Yeah, Hitachi's like spinning his swords like crazy, and it's like, oh, if you touch this, you're gonna die. And somehow, somehow he gets through it. I can't remember how.
Well,
it's very unmemorable. Like
yeah.
So to me, this one's below average.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find it because it's got to be.
I don't even got much to say about it. Is the thing.
Yeah, I haven't got much to say about it either.
Yeah.
I'll find it. Well, I'll just leave it for now and find it. It'll show up at some point.
It's Zoro versus Luffy. Yeah, I'm not. Are we? Oh wait, no, that's not it either. God damn it. Yeah, we'll find it later, I guess.
It is. Let me just pick up the screen. Where is it? Why were these moved around?
I don't know. Blame
Blame the interwebs.
Blame tier list. Don't blame me.
Oh, I see it. It's third row all the way to the left. Left.
Oh.
All the way to the left. All the way to the left.
I'm looking. I can't see it.
It's like that one right there.
No, that's
Wapol.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was like the. Yeah, sorry. My bad. Are you sure it's on there?
I did put it on here. I'm pretty sure. Let me go into the actual One Piece tier list. I can actually let me just Zoro versus.
I can't see it at all.
Yeah, I'm not seeing.
Oh, I didn't. Oh,
yeah, you didn't put it in there. That's why.
Yeah, I didn't put it in there. Sorry about that,
no,
guys.
honestly, fuck it. It's a low tier fight. Don't even bother.
Yeah, didn't even bother.
Sorry. I thought it
That's no problem, dude. What's next?
No, so Luffy versus Arlong.
Luffy versus Arlong is this is probably the most emotional fight at that point in One Piece.
Oh yeah, I thought it was. I think it should go in great because I thought it was an awesome fight. I just love how Arlong just pulls out his teeth.
Yeah,
and he's like, "I got castanets."
Like, I gotta try something. Hold up.
Yeah, and I just love the symbolism of Luffy just bringing down Luffy's bringing down Nami's entire tragedy.
When he starts throwing shit out of that room and no one knows what the fuck's going on except for Nami, and she's down there like crying. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
And actually, Tekin's right, because in his top 10 One Piece moments when it got to Luffy help me, he said that if Oda couldn't finish One Piece after this, then this would be a perfect way to end the series.
Yeah, I will say too. It's not part of the fight, but like I always look very fondly upon the Luffy help me moment, specifically, you know, that moment, but also the moment where she's stabbing the fuck out of her arm right before.
Yes,
because that right there is the moment that got me into One Piece. Like I was watching it just casually before that. I was like, okay, interesting. And then that moment right there was like, holy fuck. Like, this is something special.
So I only saw One Piece. I saw the 4Kids dub when I was on holiday in America. When I was younger, and it was the buggy fight that got me into it.
I'm really happy I never watched the 4Kids stuff.
Yeah, lucky you. I only watched some of it, but the opening intro was really catchy. I'm just going to give them that.
True.
That's all I got.
Definitely put effort into that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say as well. It's the same thing with the awful Card Captors dub that happened. It's like the dub is awful, but the theme song is just so catchy.
Yeah, no, I remember my experience with watching One Piece for the first time. It was very like of its time because you remember like early internet before copyright laws really took hold and you could find like shit everywhere.
Yeah.
So like there was like an app that like on the early app store. I must have had like the first iPod Touch, and there was an app that was basically like Kiss Anime but in app form.
Yeah,
and like it just had all of the episodes and shit. And I remember watching it on a shitty app with really shitty fan subs. And in my bed, like on this small ass screen, and I was like, man, that that hits different. Nowadays, I'd be like, I ain't watching that shit on a small screen. You give me a TV.
Yeah.
But either way, getting to this moment was like huge for me. I was like, wow. And I remember it was so exciting because I think at this moment the anime must have had, I think it was in the 500s or something, maybe 400s. Because I remember when I caught up to One Piece, it was at the Sabo Ace Luffy flashback.
Yeah, would have been in the 500s then.
Yeah. Such a good summer too. I remember that summer because I had nothing to do. It was summer, and I just binged all of One Piece in 3 months.
I did that too.
Wasn't that a phenomenal experience?
It was so good. I got up to, it was the Thriller Bark, end of the Thriller Bark arc.
You caught up when it was in Thriller Bark?
Yes.
God damn, early adopter.
Yeah, and I can vouch for binging as well because I'm binging through most of Black Clover at the moment. So
like, how? I know you're like almost hitting 30, right, Luke?
I am 30. I was 30 last month. So
happy late birthday! And then what are you, Sid?
I'm 33.
That makes sense.
Literally,
so I'm 26. Oh, I'm gonna be 27.
I just want to say I'm literally 5 months older than David because he's 7th of May and I'm 7th of January.
Wow. Yeah. So like, I remember another memory I have very vividly was actually because I wasn't into it yet, but like, being in the anime community, you'd hear about One Piece a lot. And I remember I would watch a lot of manga reviews. And of course, back then it was like all about the fan translations and it would come out on like Wednesdays or Tuesdays and shit. And I remember, I would watch a bunch of Bleach reviews. And I remember people talk like the Bleach reviewers talking like kind of passively about, One Piece is about to hit the time skip in the manga. Like when that was happening. I remember that shit, and I was like, it got me intrigued to watch it. Oh,
yeah, and now we go by the official translations.
Yes,
thank God.
Yeah. So I this is a vaguely similar thing. So I didn't have internet in my house for like years, and when I did get internet in my house when I was living at home with my mum, is when in that summer I binged up to the Thriller Bark one, but the summer before. Again, or possibly 2 summers before. I can't remember. It was when Naruto Shippuden had come out. So it was after that time skip. So basically, didn't have it into the house. So I went down to the local library and I just watched. You could only sit on a computer for 2 hours at a time, and then you get kicked off the computer. So you'd have to jump to another computer to go on for another 2 hours. I literally just went on YouTube and watched all of Naruto.
That's awesome. I love memories like that.
It was like so good.
Yeah,
that's amazing. But yeah, for this fight, great for sure.
Great, definitely,
yeah, great for sure.
Definitely. Probably, like I said, probably the first like proper emotional fight of the series.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Arlong arc is a huge milestone for One Piece, and it's the arc that I tell everyone getting into One Piece. Like you have to get to this arc.
Yeah,
it is very good. So next should be Luffy versus Zoro.
Luffy versus Zoro. Of course, we could.
This is
Whiskey Peaks.
Whiskey Peak.
Yeah, Whiskey Peak.
Yeah, of course we couldn't have a shonen anime or manga without 2 characters fighting for pretty much pathetic reasons.
Yeah, this is one of those like the fandom dreams of seeing this like play out in a serious manner, and I wish that this would happen. Honestly, this fight, like they clashed a couple times, and I think the best part about this fight, honestly, is them like casually taking out Mr. Five.
Yeah.
But really, when you get down to it,
like almost nothing. So
there's nothing, and people joke about Nami being potentially the strongest Straw Hat, and here she's like she really is because she knocks both of them out.
Comic relief moments, of course.
It's the thing is though as well. Like it was at this stage where I'm like, okay, who would actually at this stage, who would actually win if they were enemies and they were going for each other? Who would win? Because
I think
Zoro can cut.
Well, actually, it's not that they sleep on Zoro; it's that they overhype Luffy. I have always looked at Luffy and Zoro as like almost equals in power level.
Same.
Because like it seems to me like Zoro is the only person on the crew who talks to Luffy rather like almost as an equal. Like, of course, he respects him, but like there are moments where Zoro's like, "Hey, stop fucking around." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Perfect example is when he's just gonna fight Usopp back, and Zoro's like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like he has clout that other members just don't have. Like I remember
Yeah.
even during that part that you just said there, Luke. Like even like Sanji, who is arguably, the third, not even arguably, he is the third strongest after Zoro. Like Sanji was basically just like, yeah, whatever you say, Luffy, and then like Zoro's like, nah, bitch. And so this is a fight I want to see one day, and I desperately cling to the Joy Boy theory. Do either of you watch Joy Boy?
No, I need to because Tekken keeps referencing him.
I like Joy Boy a lot.
I've watched a few things by him, but never really religiously.
Joy Boy is kind of like the Alex Jones of One Piece. Like he's very like he's the kind of guy who like he'll come up with these outlandish, crazy ideas of like some shit that can happen in the future, but like he'll go through it and just enough for you to be like that maybe could happen, and then it gets really hype.
Well, I came up with an outlandish theory about the future of One Piece, like what the actual secret of the world government is.
Well, I don't want to derail the tier list too much. Maybe at the end.
We'll save that to the end.
All this to say, though, I desperately cling on to his theory that Zoro and Luffy are gonna like have a conflict because honestly, if you think about it, Zoro should be angry at the fact that Sanji and Luffy like drug Big Mom here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a dishonorable fight. Yeah.
Well, not even dishonorable. Like if you remember in Zoro was like he specifically was like, let Sanji handle his shit. Don't go after him. I'm telling you, this is stupid. We're already dealing with one Yonko. Do we need to deal with two? He said that shit in Zo. And now what's happening? They're dealing with two.
Well, I think this is. I think it's
moments in his recent fights where it looks like they could win. They're getting Kaido on the ropes, and then Big Mom comes in, but bam, lightning. You know what I mean? I would love a moment where Zoro, like they have a horrible loss, and Zoro realizes this is because of Sanji and Luffy.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen.
I
think that's what's going to happen. Actually, I think they'll win. They'll win against Big Mom and Zoro, but they'll suffer greatly for it.
What would they suffer? What, like
I could see, what
would they suffer?
Kid and Law dying, and Sora. I could actually see Zoro going blind.
Oh my god!
No. Like
maybe that's just me being radical.
So Law is way too popular in the fan base. I don't think he'd get killed off.
So was Ace.
Yeah, but that was for the narrative. That was important to the narrative because of his link. Like Law.
Yeah,
I don't particularly like it. We'll see.
I'm not too sure. That's just something I don't want to derail too much. But like, basically, with this fight here, nothing really happens. So to me, it's below average or bad. Like, it's really not even a fight, in my opinion.
I'd say bad.
Yeah. Is that the right picture?
Yeah, it is. It's a different picture, but it is the right one.
No, I remember that. I remember that exact shot. That's when they clash, and there's like this weird ripple effect.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So next should be Chopper versus Chespirito.
This is Chopper's first fight where we see all of his shit. And it's very creative because like I always loved Wapple's ability of like I eat shit, I can combine it, yada yada. That's really interesting. And then this is Chopper's moment where you're like, damn, this guy is unique. So I enjoy this fight as like an introduction to Chopper. And I would put it at probably average.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any strong opinions on this fight because looking back on it, it's a great introduction to Chopper, but at the same time, I feel it's a little bit too short.
I kind of can't remember it.
Yeah, like I can remember it a bit. Like I mostly just remember Luffy reacting to everything he's doing. Like, wow!
Yeah, laser beam. It's a laser beam.
So like for me, what's really moving this fight up is because I love Chopper and I love how he fights.
Fair enough.
So that's why like it's not like great, excellent, good, but it's somewhere around average. I don't think because I like it. I definitely like it better than all of the fights in the below average tier. That's the only reason.
Okay, fair.
But if you guys remember, this is a democracy vote, man. If you guys have,
I'd say below average. It's not bad and. Like because, like you said, it wouldn't go into forgettable because obviously, it is the time that Chopper is pulling off all his stuff, like showing all his abilities.
But remember, he doesn't show all of them because there's one ability he doesn't show until Enies Lobby.
Well, that's not.
He didn't even know that. I don't even think he remembered that shit. He just knew something happened when he ate more than one.
He didn't know, and he didn't know what it was, and that was I'm about to die. This is a Hail Mary, and it paid off. So I'd say for this, it's below average.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I can agree with that because again,
Yeah.
again,
The boringness of the enemy brings that one down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now Luffy versus Wapol.
Lucy versus Wapol.
I remember. I'm trying to remember what happens in this fight. I remember he like a cannon is involved somehow. Doesn't
Yeah,
like,
he eats
him?
this like super powerful cannon, and he ends up bazookaing him. Like Luffy wins by
Yeah, that was
like,
back in the day where he bazookaed everyone.
Yeah. The big thing I liked about Wapol is it was at this stage, and it's where Wapol eats himself and gets small.
Oh, he gets
and
like way thinner, right?
he gets way thin, and I just stopped, and I was like, wow, I've finally seen someone eat their own head. That's supposed to be impossible, but he did it. He ate his own head. It was all right. It was Wapol. Is a very, very enjoyable character, like villain. He's just an asshole for the sake of it, because he's just like his power is brilliant. I think it's very, very creative. As a fight goes, average.
Yeah, I don't remember much about this fight at all.
Yeah,
I would say below average.
Well.
Yeah, better. I don't
below
know if
average.
it's as good as Kuro or
No.
No.
Yeah,
Below average.
Below average.
Below average.
Yeah.
Now, this fight,
This fight is so good.
This fight is got to be one of the most.
Wait, which one?
Sanji
versus Mr. 2.
This fight is going to be one of the strangest, but at the same time most entertaining fights I have ever seen. Again,
swans on his feet.
I've always
don't forget what he can do with those goddamn swans. He can poke holes through goddamn concrete. Like,
it was freaking terrifying. Yeah, it was like, oh crap, that's actually oddly like this is one of the biggest things I love about anime, and it's also especially seen in JoJo's, but also in Bleach. Do you remember when they're
gay the characters are?
Well, that and how
I do really appreciate how unabashedly gay this guy is.
Yeah, but like he's just so ridiculous, and you just kind of look at him and go, "Oh, you're a bit of a joke," and then he's freaking powerful.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
it's like, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say it reminds me of like Charlotte from Bleach, where it's just like the guy
Yumachika fought.
Yeah, the guy Yumachika fought. It's
that's
like
the fight I was going to reference when I was on about Bleach. Yeah. That's exactly it, because it's like, oh, this guy looks like a pushover. Oh, he's terrifying.
Yeah,
that's something I really appreciate about One Piece, and we'll probably get into that later. I'm hoping that it's in this list here. My boy Wanze.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Fights Wanze. He better be fucking in here, bro.
Which fight is that one? Which fight is it?
The guy with the nose ramen.
No, that's not it. That's not.
You're fucking adding it.
All right. What?
That's CP9 arc.
Yes, it's
on the C train. I have so much to say about that fight. That's like one of my most underrated favorite fights.
I'll get the fight.
All right, when we get there.
One. But yeah, but yeah, what I was gonna say, Sanji versus Mr. 2. I've always loved Sanji's fighting style. How he's like he doesn't use his hands. He's mostly focusing on his kicks. And this fight, have you guys ever played Tekken, like the actual fighting series?
Yeah. Yes, everyone plays with Eddie button bashing.
Yeah, Eddie Gordo. It reminds me of like Mr. 2 reminds me of like a more flamboyant Eddie Gordo, and I just love how no matter what, anything happens, Sanji, despite everything, he will not hit Nami even when someone is using her image, and it's like, this is not Nami, but oh shit, she's so hot, I can't do it.
But anyway, it's not just that. One of the big theories I think why Zoro and Sanji clash is their different views on women. So like Sanji he's a knight, he's chivalrous, always has utmost respect for women, and Zoro is a feminist. It's like everyone's the same. It's fine.
Yeah. Which I've just got to say one thing. The guy, the YouTuber, the Phone 999. Have you guys heard?
It's been a long time since I heard that guy's name.
Yeah. Basically, he go in one of his videos back when he was doing proper reviews, quote unquote. He goes real talk. All you Zoro fanboys are gonna be saying are gonna be shivering because Sanji's gonna come in and curve stop two Yonkos, one of them being Big Mom. And I'm like there thinking like, wait a minute. Sanji can't do that because he will not fight Big Mom because she's a woman.
Yeah.
Well, either way, with this fight, probably great.
Probably
Yeah.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just such a joy.
All
of
the
a fight.
Alabasta fights were so good, and like
That's
this
the
was
thing,
Sanji's
yeah.
first, like,
Yeah.
really good fights in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Nami
The-
versus Miss Double
I
Fingers.
love this fight.
This is so good.
This
This
fight-
is such a good fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because it's really exciting too. Because like
It's her
I
first
wanted
fight.
Nami to do more for so long, and this was such a good fight for Nami. I love everything about it. I love the slow like understanding of the climate tech. How like throughout the whole fight, it's just,
Yeah, like
doing
she's
party
there.
tricks and
She's
shit.
there. She's there
So
trying to
funny.
make attacks happen, and she's like, "Oh, look at these flowers and everything. How am I supposed to work with this?"
Yeah, and
It's
then the way
so
she makes
good.
it work with the like even that final one was a party trick, but like it still worked because she like wrapped her up in the thing and shit.
Yeah.
And like only later did she go back to Usopp like, "Hey, I'd like this to not be party tricks, please."
Yeah, it was so good. It was such a good fight.
Yeah,
her running
definitely.
away, her getting the spike through the fucking heel.
Yeah.
The spike power of Miss Doublefingers is so cool. The way she used it, walking
Yeah.
like upside down on the ceiling. The hedgehog thing where she's like rolling, like it's just very, very unique. Way. The way
And she's
walked
got her
around,
blue hair.
everything was visually unique. I love this fight.
It's so good. And plus, she's got blue hair, so it's literally like Sonic the Hedgehog. doing-
Yeah.
doing this
Yes.
spin.
For me,
It's so
this
good.
might be blasphemous. For me, this is easily excellent.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, I'd honestly, it would either be great or excellent. But because
Here's the thing.
I'll
Is
let
it,
Luke break the tie on that.
here's the
Yeah.
thing. Here's the thing. Do we think it's better than Sanji versus Mr. Two?
I do.
yes,
Okay,
because
I've been outvoted
because-
then.
this is the thing. It's better because we know that Sanji is an extremely competent fighter. Nami has never been in a big fight before. She's up against a highly skilled assassin. She's basically an assassin with a really freaking deadly
The number
devil fruit
two
power.
of like the number one, basically.
Yeah. She's so good, and at this stage, I mean, obviously with Usopp being the weakest and stuff, like, but she's never been in a fight. She's never done anything, and she doesn't know how to use the climb attack to its full potential because she just kind of got it. And like you said, it is like Red said, it is just parlor tricks and stuff, and she freaking owns it.
Yeah, and it's really
Freaking
cool. Like, at this point now, I've watched One Piece with two women, and they get really excited when Nami actually starts doing shit. Like, this is always a really exciting part to get to when you're watching One Piece with a woman,
Mhm.
like because they love Nami. At least both the women I've watched it with, they really like Nami.
Mm.
And then when this part comes, they're like, yeah. You know,
Do they like her? Do they like her better than Robin?
I don't know. I mean, I should ask Deanna. So Deanna is one of the people I'm watching it with right now. She's halfway through Skypiea, so she hasn't seen the whole character arc of Robin yet.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
But,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely an
moving
excellent
on.
fight.
Moving
Nice.
on. So, which one?
Zora
Oh,
Mr. One. Zora Mr. One.
Yeah, Zora Mr.
yeah,
One.
Zora
yeah.
Mr.
I
One.
wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if Mr. One came before or after Mr. Four in the
Just wait.
list.
First, I'm
But-
gonna say the rank first, and then it's excellent, 100%, because it is also
Definitely.
better
Yes,
than the
yeah,
Sanji
yeah.
one.
Definitely.
This one is huge because this is the moment where he learns to cut through steel.
Yeah, it's so
and, like,
good.
I love that to death because it not only is the effects of this fight are felt throughout the rest of the series. Like you see him casually cutting through steel. I even think of like the scene where he first clashes against Haku, or not Haku. I'm sorry, Kaku, in Water 7, and he just like slices through his sword. Like I think back, like every time he slices through swords, I think of this fight. So
Yeah.
the effects are felt. I love that.
Yeah.
The battle is just really good. I love how he can turn his whole body. Basically, it's Zoro versus a human sword. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Mm.
it kind of have, for me, it has reminiscence of Kenpachi versus Noritora from Bleach, and how that was a big character moment for Kenpachi, where it was just like, I'm going to use my ultimate technique, two hands, because
Yes.
because Sora was basically like Kenpachi in this fight. It's like, I can't cut through
All
steel.
myth, yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to learn to cut through steel.
And it's also
Yeah,
he if you think about it, he's
Sorry, go
holding, so he has 3 samurai swords. Now they are typically like hand and a half, 2-handed swords. So you're right, just like Kenpachi, if you actually had 2 hands on a sword, you will double its power. And he's got 3 swords, one in his mouth and one in each hand. That one in his mouth will get in the way of one of his swords. He will be limited on the movement he can do. Like, to some degree, obviously, it's One Piece. They freaking cut mountains in half like they're nothing.
Yeah.
But like he freaking just proper slashes the crap out of Mr.
Yeah.
One with the one sword. It's
And-
just
and
so good.
And yet, for some reason, Zoro could never cut Oars.
Hey?
Pretty sure he cut Oars. I don't know.
I don't think he did. He kind of grazed him, but I don't think he cut him.
Well, that
He had,
means
like, harder skin. I don't remember.
yeah, I go with Oars being harder than
Ancient
Steel.
giants be whack.
Yeah,
yeah,
Zoro could
he's
cut
an
through
ancient
anything,
giant.
but not giants.
not
Well, I
giants.
don't know, man. Like, we've seen shit like hockey. Obviously, you can't cut through. I imagined at this point diamond, because that was one of the things Mr. One asked him. Like, you gonna cut through diamond now? He's like, that'd be dumb.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
But
Yeah.
either way, like, I really enjoy the moment where you flash back to like him and his sensei, and
Oh, yeah,
he
definitely.
basically teaches him Rio. Now we know. You know what I mean? Like, they
Which,
talk about
by the way, slight tangent quickly, but do you guys honestly believe that Kuina is dead, or do you actually buy the theory that
I
she
do
is?
think Queen is dead. There's no reason to bring her back, in my opinion.
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
she needed to die for the thing. Plus, like, Oda kills people off screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Flashback Oda is ruthless. Modern day Oda is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So, yeah, definitely
that was-
excellent.
Yeah, excellent for me. But
Yeah.
I really enjoy the flashback where we see that, and like I like the idea of like feel the resonance / the soul of an object, and that helps you cut it open. This is one of the first, probable foreshadowings of hockey. It's really neat.
yeah.
It is amazing.
Well,
It's
with
one of
the-
my favorites of Zoro's. It's one of the first moments where I really started liking Zoro. I like it when he just casually lifts the building up and chucks at him, and he dices it all
Yes.
up. I really like Mr. One's ability where all of his fingers become little mini swords, and he clashes with Zoro by grabbing the sword.
That's so
much
cool.
fun in this fight.
It's
Yeah.
so good. You could argue that Kuro's fight hinted towards hockey because the speed
With
he was
the-
going at.
So,
Like,
like
he-
with the observation hockey.
Kuro did
No.
not have fucking hockey.
Oh no, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't. But can you
that
imagine
right
him with hockey? Can you imagine him with it though?
Yeah, I mean, he honestly,
Yeah.
he is one of the characters that should come back. Like, I could see Kuro
Yes.
doing cool shit.
Yeah, but I don't think he is going to
He's
come
not going
back.
to, but he could.
Yeah. If
I
anything, they do.
Oda, and I was like, what character I would want to bring back that no one will expect? It'd be like him or Geen or something.
Yeah.
I want Geen to come back. I want Johnny and Geen to come back.
Johnny, what about Yosaku?
Johnny, Yosuke, and Geen. I want all three of them to come back.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
forget.
But the one that's definitely going to come back at some point, Crocodile.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crocodile's too important, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's next?
Yeah. Cool. So Usopp and Chopper versus
Now-
Mr. Four.
I love this fight.
Yeah,
So
was this the fight? Was this the fight that you were going to talk about
No,
earlier?
so the fight that my favorite Usopp fight is actually Usopp Perona.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
my,
get
my,
to
fa-
that.
my favorite is not that one. It's the other big Usopp fight.
Usopp Luffy is also very good.
Yeah, that's my favorite fight, and we'll get
Yeah.
to that when we get to it. But this fight,
Yeah, so with this
I
fight,
adore this fight.
me
So
too.
good.
This is the ultimate Bard fight. I love getting to this moment when I'm watching it with people because it's just, first of all, the origin of the 5-ton hammer joke, one of my favorite jokes
Yes.
in all of One Piece.
Yeah.
And Chopper buying it for hook, line, and sinker. You're like, oh my god!
And Mr. Four is like a Pokemon because that's all he can say. Four.
Yeah.
Mm, I-
I remember him talking, but it's just really slowly.
Oh right, because
but-
all,
Yeah, no, he did
all
talk,
I can
yeah.
remember is just 4, whack the ball, 4, whack
Yeah.
the ball.
But, like, that
Plus,
fight,
this is-
this fight is like so unique on Oda's part. Like the
Yeah,
you have
definitely.
groundhog, or you have a mole fruit, bunch of fucking holes, and then you have him popping up between the holes, and
And it's
then you have
whack-a-mole.
the dog. Hold on, and then you have the dog with or rather the cannon with the dog fruit, which is the
Yes.
first foreshadowing of Vegapunk and his whole thing. There's so much going on in this fight, and then of course Usopp. This is when Usopp goes from like okay, kind of smart in the fight with Chu, but this fight Usopp like next level, top tier. You have the
Yes.
moment where he's getting drugged through the ground and he gets his face smashed in. You have them just so many tricks that with the hammer thing that actually worked. And it's just this is top tier Usopp. This is like the beginnings of me really loving Usopp.
yeah.
And to me, another easy excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easy excellent.
Easy,
Again,
excellent.
again,
So
like you
good.
said, Red, it's so creative. It's basically like a giant whack-a-mole game.
Yeah, with baseball, kind of.
with baseball, David doesn't like sports manga, but that's probably going to be the best sports manga thing ever in One Piece.
No, I appreciate the Davy back fight.
Yeah.
The ball in Davy back fight, that shit slaps.
Which by the way, I think didn't you guys say at one point you were going to do a video on why the Davy back fight is underrated?
And then we forget. Thank you for reminding us at some point. Sure.
Yeah,
it's really good to get Thurman like prepared to do a video because his time. Like I even just messaged him because he just woke up. I was trying to get him into this, but he says he's busy.
All right.
What time is it over there for you?
Well, for me, it's 3:40, but Thurman lives in Nevada, and for him, it would be 12:40.
Fair enough.
12:40
p.m. for him, 3:40 p.m. for me.
All right.
8:40 p.m. for us.
Yeah. Right. I forgot it. Yeah. I found it. Luffy's crocodile.
So, I like this fight. I do think it's a teensy bit overrated as final fights go. I think it's good, but I think people are like, "Oh my god!" But like, when compared to like every other Luffy final fight, like I feel like you guys are gonna want to put it at God, but for me, it's just excellent. That's all I'm.
I'd agree. It's excellent because he lost twice before to Crocodile,
and I appreciate that.
I think that's. Yeah,
and I like the whole idea of like he knows his weakness. He's run out of water. It's like I'll just coat myself in my own blood.
That is cool. Yeah,
yes,
that was hardcore. Plus, it's like okay, obviously we don't like this is the second Warlord of the Sea they've come across because the first one being Mihawk, and so you know how freaking powerful they are. You don't know how powerful they are in relation to one another, but this guy's freaking. Yeah, you just know that they are like these are the biggest threat you're ever going to face at the moment. Because I don't think the Warlord, the Yonko had been introduced yet.
No, they get end of the Enies Lobby arc.
Yeah.
Garp comes in and fucking Garp and Kobe come in and talk about it.
Yeah, that was it. So for me, I say this fight is massively iconic. It was such a good ending. Plus the way he defeats him, he freaking Gatling guns him through like hundreds of meters of earth.
Yeah, in a way, it's like reverse Dressrosa.
Yeah.
That's actually really interesting because people always make comparisons to Dressrosa and Alabasta, and Alabasta ends with him underground, fucking gatling him up above the ground, and then fucking Dressrosa ends with him in the sky, bazooka or King Kong gunning him below the ground.
Yeah, it's. I really enjoy it. I think you're right. It's an excellent fight. It was really, really enjoyable. It's
good. I like Crocodile a lot. He's like the classic Bond villain. I like the poison hook.
Yes.
I liked the blood element of it, which is funny because you'd think 4Kids would, not have taken. I know they changed it to like sweat in their version. It's like, bro, like why did you buy that show? Like I understand the first 3 episodes seem like a Saturday morning cartoon, but like
it was in a package they got. So
you're right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they had to take it if they wanted like Shaman King.
I love Shaman King.
Yeah.
Either way, it's good. But honestly, like I like my favorite element of the fight with Crocodile is actually the water Luffy, like when he has the whole fucking pack on his back.
Yes.
Yeah. But I was going to say, because I agree with you, I think it's a bit overrated. But I think it's because I think people class it as like one of the best fights in One Piece just because of the fact that Crocodile was the first character to properly defeat Luffy in a one-on-one.
I remember like early One Piece, like that first like 25% of One Piece from like East Blue to like right before Water 7. Like it definitely had like the biggest energy for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like people, it's just people seeing Luffy's struggle to defeat Crocodile, and then when it finally gets to it, it's like he finally did it. I feel like that's what people. That's what people.
It's still excellent. I just think that there's so many that are God that like I can't sully the God tier with.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's a little bit overrated as a fight, but it's still excellent.
Yes.
Cool. So next should be Chopper versus Priest Gedetsu.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's reminding. Oh, that's the how careless.
I've completely forgotten.
Forgot about that. This one as well.
That's fair. I do love that character though.
I can't remember what. How does that fight go?
Okay, I got you. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so this character was so stupid. Like he was like unbelievably stupid. Like not in the sense that he's a bad character, but that he's like literally stupid. So one of the things he's always like biting his like lower lip like crazy. Whenever he whenever he tries to cross his arms to look cool, he doesn't know how to cross his arms, so he keeps like going with his hands, but he can't cross. And then someone's like, "Are you trying to cross your arms again, sir?" Whenever he's doing an inner monologue, like it pans out to reveal that he's actually talking out loud and not in his head. And they're like, "You're saying that out loud," and he would always be like, "How careless." But the fight went for a while. But the main thing I remember with it was that he ended up like basically like head deep in the clouds that they were fighting on, and he's like, "You idiot! I have these like jet boots, and I'll just use them and propel myself back up." And then he just launches himself through the clouds down to the blue sea world. So it was fucking hilarious. Like I enjoy it. It's as a fight, it's whatever. But like the character was so funny. So to me, it's definitely, I would put it at average.
Fair.
I really cannot remember this fight at all. I would put it in below average.
I would have put forgettable.
Okay, so I guess Sid, you can be go ahead and choose between average and below average. Sid.
Below average.
That's fair.
I'd say below average.
All right.
I'd say yeah.
I just have a soft spot for the enemy in this one. That's all.
That's totally fair. That's a legit thing.
Go back and reread that one. Seriously, he's so fucking funny.
All right.
It's the one Robin fight in the show.
It's just the one, yeah.
Can I just say? I just want to say
It's
one
right in
thing.
there.
I just want to say one thing about this fight. They see me rolling
He did, like,
away.
roll like a motherfucker, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I think
freaking.
purely because of the fact that it's one of the few Robin fights, like so one-on-one, I do have a soft spot for it.
Yeah,
I
do
don't
as
remember a
well.
lot about it. I don't remember the fight itself, but I remember the motives. I remember he was like being an asshole and destroying the ruins, and of course that's like Robin's whole thing. So I did appreciate it based off of her like love for history and of course that creates such a deeper meaning when you see her flashback and you think back to like the government burning down all the tree of knowledge and yada yada. So like I do appreciate that about it, and it was great to see Robin have a 1v1. So for me, it's at least average, maybe great.
Yeah, I'd say average. You're right. It is literally her
and
only,
I would say
it's her only fight.
Yeah, and I would say average.
It's her only fight. Plus, I liked how the guy's wearing the belt that's covered in those dials, and she just flips it over and slaps them so they activate.
Yeah.
Slashing. So that's the thing. Because she's not a fighter. she's a spy. She's into espionage and sneaking because she's had to try and survive. And if she gets into fights, she grapples and kills people instantly because she's like an assassin. She's a spy. So she's not a big heavy hitting fighter. She's a support role. And so it's a clever way to win.
Yeah. We can all hope and pray for that 1v1 Robin versus Black Maria.
I really, really hope that's going to happen.
Me too.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well. So average.
Yeah.
All right.
So next is Zoro versus how do you pronounce his name?
I remember. I think it is like like a monk. I remember this guy. He had like a bird cage light, essentially.
Did he? I thought it was cloud. I thought it was a cloud that could take shape.
Okay, hold on. To be fair, you're right. That was what he had, a cloud that could like change shapes. But I'm almost positive he put them all in a cage at one point.
Possibly.
Hold on, I'm googling that.
Yeah, you Google that. Because I can't remember as well.
Message you if I find a picture of that.
Yeah.
Because I think his ordeal of iron was that. Ordeal of iron.
In terms of putting it on the thing, I'd say it was forgettable because again, I can't remember it.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite arcs, because at the time, because say it's one of my favorite arcs. It's like the one that always gets skipped over when they do computer game adaptations.
Birdcage light.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
Here, hold on. Where can I send this?
Just send it to me in Discord.
Okay. Yeah. So you're right. He did have the cloud that could change the shapes and shit, and like almost very. You guys have both seen Bleach, so like kind of like Gein's sword.
Yeah.
Ichimaru. He had that.
Yeah.
His actual ordeal just like the Ordeal of Spears guy. His Ordeal of Iron was putting them in like a cage and making it a cage match, basically.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
forgettable.
Okay.
It's so funny because it literally is Birdcage.
So it's kind of like a precursor to
Doflamingo, yeah.
Birdcage.
But yeah, I agree. Forgettable's fine.
Forget.
Yeah.
Now, Luffy versus Eneru.
This is obviously phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's so
Very,
good.
very good. I love the fact of when Eneru's like there, just like, you mortal being, and just striking him with lightning.
Oh, the classic Eneru face moment.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
and it's
the
not
picture I chose.
Yeah,
That's the picture I chose for it.
Yeah, and it's not affecting Luffy, and he's like, what?
I love that moment too because like
So
he
good.
doesn't. Of course, it makes total sense that he wouldn't know what rubber is. Like that makes
Yeah.
absolute sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that moment could only work given that, like, because Big Mom recently did that whole "why isn't it working?" and I'm like, you don't really get that luxury of not knowing what rubber is, Big Mom.
Yeah.
No. But what I love about this is the fact that it's not just with him. It's not just lightning that he just keeps throwing at Luffy all the time. He kind of
You think that heat will hurt him, yeah.
So heats up his arms and like attacks Luffy that way. So like he
Yeah, he has a lot of really clever
spear and
booster
stuff.
rounds. Like he's like, okay, I'm gonna melt the gold on this ship and make a spear and like fucking, or a trident rather, and fucking like channel the electricity through it to make it hot. I'll fucking burn your ass. Or I'm trying to think of other things he did. And I remember the fight too. Like I'm just thinking of cool moments. Like I remember Luffy because he had observation hockey. Like never forget this motherfucker had observation hockey.
Yeah.
So you have the moment where Luffy does the like, I'm gonna turn my brain off and fight you that way, or I'm gonna punch the wall of your ship. So it's just like I'm not thinking about it and it's totally random. Very clever shit.
So clever.
Yeah,
So clever.
and very clever way of how Luffy defeated him because he
Into the bell, baby.
I was going to say that, but also the fact that didn't Eneru melt Luffy's hand into gold, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm just going to use this
I love that
against you."
moment because he drops him down. And yeah, like he basically uses that against him. And I also love the tying in the defeating him to the goal of bringing the bell. And then like you defeat him, you ring the bell. Nolan's ancestor down there, like he hears that it's all tied together. And then you see the shadow of Luffy, which answers the question of what those big ass things were in the beginning of the arc. Such a satisfying ending. Like
It's so good.
Yeah,
way more satisfying. Like again, Crocodile's great, but this is a satisfying ass ending. Anything else I wanted to say about this? I don't know if it counts as part of the fight, but like you gotta throw in the Sanji I needed a light moment.
Oh yeah, that is pretty cool.
Like
Yeah,
him,
he electrocutes him
yeah,
in the boat.
like, okay.
yeah. So where are we putting this?
Is it God?
I think so.
I
Because
think
it has so many
And
good
I'm not just-
moments.
And I'm not just saying that because
he's God.
Eneru's a god.
Sorry, I had to steal the joke.
Yeah,
Snooze, you lose, old man.
old man.
Yeah, 30s. I mean,
Yeah, we
I'm
are.
only
we
4
are.
years
What a
older than
fucking
you.
I'm 3 years older than you.
Yeah,
But you don't sound as old.
I know.
No, we look very young.
Yeah,
Congrats.
yeah. Because you've
you
seen
know what?
pictures of me.
Give him God.
Yeah. Oh man.
Right.
May though. Oh, no, I was gonna say if there are other ones that I feel strongly about, we may have to add like a God plus.
Okay. Well, I can add a super god.
We might have to do that because there's like 2 or 3 that deserve God plus.
It would need to be God Usopp level.
Yeah, yeah, make it God Usopp. Thank you. Perfect. Top tier.
Yeah. Number 1, just the best.
Right.
Oh. Right, what's next? Next is Ace versus Blackbeard. So freaking good.
So, what? Can I just say something?
Yeah, you start.
Yeah.
I love how ambiguous it is at the end.
The
Like,
fucking
yes.
narrator.
You
Oda
do
in
not-
his
you do
foreshadowing,
not know
like, this
what
would go on
happened.
to be the
Yeah.
fucking most important shit.
Yeah.
And it literally was at that point. It was the catalyst to the most important thing that happens in the series.
That shit was casually fucking dropped just in the middle of these arcs. And I remember at the time, I'm like, okay, weird place to put that.
Yeah, but again, you've got to respect Oda for that because
Of course.
I think what you said as well. One of the main problems with Promised Neverland is that even during the time skip, it didn't feel like the world was changing. It just felt like it only focused on when Emma was doing stuff. But you have this fight that's completely separate from Luffy and the Straw Hats and what they're doing. But it kind of shapes the world from that point on.
Well, this is the thing. Like, we're sat here talking. We're sat here talking about this, and like, you know, 5 doors down, there's some people watching TV. Like, somewhere else in the world, someone's waking up to go to work. Like, the world is going.
My neighbor could be arguing with their wife and about to get a fucking divorce.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, life is going. Life on the rest of the planet is continuing. Like, and that's what this bit is. It's like, oh, by the way, this is happening. And like with Reverie, like, oh, politics is happening.
Too. Like, it is not easy to do that. You know what
I
mean?
And again, it's one of the things that I respect most about Dr. Stone, because we've been cutting back to what's going on in Corn City whilst we've been following.
You like Dr. Stone.
I know, but I've got to bring that up. Can I bring that up?
Fine, as long as I get to bring up Hunter x Hunter whenever I want.
Yes, you can.
Do I get to bring up the books that I've written?
Yes, you can.
There we go.
A fucking self-plug, though.
Right, but anyway, going back to Ace vs. Black.
So there's a YouTuber I watch. I highly recommend him. I'm curious, have you either of you two watched any videos from Super Eye Patch Wolf?
Yeah, yes, I have. Even though I have a few disagreements with him on things,
fair. But like, I think he does really good videos on like he's got a lot of good writing advice, and he has like what makes a good villain, what makes a good hero.
I know which one. I know which one you're going.
He goes into the I remember in his good hero video, what makes a good hero / protagonist. He was talking. He brought up like this graph, and he was like, you know, power and influence over the world versus like and relatability versus, or no, it's virtuous and or not virtuous, and then power, and then a level of influence over the world, and it was like a 4-tiered chart. And he talked about how like characters like Superman really boring because they're like, you know, very virtuous, and they basically have a fuck ton of influence over the world. The world literally revolves around them, so they're less relatable. Whereas the more you go towards the less virtuous, less influence over the world, the more relatable a character is. So, for example, with Luffy, you get a bit of both, because you see that journey in the beginning of One Piece. He's got almost no influence over the world, and you watch as he slowly gets more and more influence over the world. So where we are now, when he makes the world reacts, but that didn't happen until recently, and that didn't happen without hundreds of chapters of work put in. So yeah, and that's one of the things. And then he even brought up Gon as an example from Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to bring that up.
Because think about it, Gon almost never even interacts with the main villains of the arc. Have you ever thought about that?
I've never watched Hunter x Hunter.
No, it's phenomenal. But like,
it is phenomenal. But,
but you also told me, Luke, you also told me that about him, My Hero Academia. I gave it a shot. I got 10 on board.
No, so Luke is just wrong. My Hero Academia is low tier.
That was.
The animation is gorgeous, but I'm just freaking bored.
When did I say that? When did I say that?
It was like
My Hero Academia has gone through a lot of ups and downs.
It was kind of like at the point where I was kind of like getting into it myself, but at this point I've kind of like gone off it.
Describe My Hero Academia as this generation's DBZ.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
He is a low tier anime. Like, you have to admit that.
Oh yeah, no, it's a low tier anime.
The only reason people like that shit.
But I agree. Sid, I can vouch for Red. Hunter Hunter 2011 anime is it's worth all the praise it gets.
What I'll say, but either way, like there's an interesting thing that I never even thought of until someone brought it up to me. In every arc except for one, the main character doesn't even like fight the main villain. Like the main villain is taken care of. Like, so for example, like you have York New arc where the main villain is more of Kurapika's problem than Gon, a side character, and then you have Chimera Ant arc where the leader of the Hunter Association is more taking care of the main villain, and then Gon's enemy in that arc is more of a personal vendetta with one of the main villain's henchmen who killed someone important to him. So like I really appreciate that writing where it's like it's less about the fate of the world and more personal, because what One Piece arcs are always the best, the ones that are personally important to the Straw Hats, the ones where Robin's in danger, Usopp's leaving the crew, Sanji left the crew. these are the best arcs in One Piece or Marineford. Why? Because it's personal stakes. It's not about the world stakes. It's about we care about these characters. I love that shit.
Yeah.
And that, of course, comes full circle with what we were talking about with shit continuing to move here with Ace and Blackbeard. And in this fight, you see that set up. But also the fight itself, I need to talk about the fight itself. So before even the fight starts, I fucking adore, there's this moment I adore. First of all, how casual Blackbeard is. He's like, hey, what's up, man? It's been a long time. You want to join me? Let's just go kill Luffy together. Never forget, he was going to kill Luffy first.
Yeah, true. He was gonna. Yeah, why was he gonna kill Luffy? Luffy
he
wasn't.
Just wanted to kill someone to present to the Marines to get a warlord spot. And at this point, I believe he had just fucked with Enies Lobby, so he was like top fucking target for the government.
Oh yeah. So
I was wondering why you guys put this here because it's definitely after Enies Lobby that this fight happens.
Okay, maybe I looked at it wrong when I was going because I was going through on the Wikipedia. And
that's fair. Either way, so like that's happening, and then there's this amazing moment where Ace is like, "Fuck you," and he's kind of sass talking Blackbeard a bit, and then Augur, his sniper dude, one of the sickest shots in the fucking anime. I love this. He gets 3 shots out on Ace in like a second. It's like you hear them all in succession. It's like even quicker than that. And it's like 1 in the head and I think it's either 2 in the head, 1 in the chest, or vice versa. But it's such like efficiency, and I love that moment because he's like, you can take your little offer and shove it right up here. He's like, well, you get it because it goes right through him because he's fire. And then Blackbeard's like, you stay the fuck away from Ace until you're stronger, okay? And then of course you get the reveal of his fucking powers, which is phenomenal. It's different from anything we've ever seen before. He can shut off fucking devil fruits. He can suck devil fruit people. Users close to him. It's just insane. I love it so much. Oh, and then of course the final clash with the darkness versus the fire.
Yeah,
will make him the king. It's phenomenal.
It is. Literally everything you said is completely right. It is so freaking boss. I love it.
For me, this is either excellent or God.
I definitely put it in God just because of the influence on the story and the ripples of it are being felt even to this day. True. Because you had like the whole flashback with Tama as well.
All right, God, it is.
I'll find out where it sits in the story now. It's bugging me.
I'm almost positive it's after Enies Lobby because there was
good episode. Let's have a look. That is episode 325.
That's after Enies Lobby.
Enies Lobby starts at 375.
Oh
no, that's chapters. That is chapters. Where is it?
You are
correct. You are correct. Oh, okay. It does happen afterwards. Yes, which makes perfect sense. I don't know why it ended there, but it did. Whoops. So next is the Enies Lobby.
Yeah, Water 7 Lobby. This is my favorite arc in the whole series, by the way.
Yes, same. I absolutely freaking love it.
I did ever be able to fucking outmatch this arc.
I forgot. I forgot to put on Luffy versus what's the guy with the door fruit.
Oh, I love that. Well, that's first gear second. That has to be on there. That is.
I know. I don't know why I didn't put it on there.
I can get
him and get fucking Wanze too, please.
Okay.
Yes. Sanji versus Wanze is a huge fight for Sanji.
If you do, I'm gonna pop to the loo. You guys can talk about the fight with the spaghetti nose dude.
Oh, you gotta be back.
Yeah, I'll just quickly get them. Sanji versus
what the hell was his name? That's gonna bother me. Oh, Wanze. You can get Wanze for now. That's WA, and then you'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sanji versus.
You can probably just use that first one right there. Yeah.
Copy image.
What? An AMV? That fight does not need an AMV as much as I love it.
I know. So let me just save that.
What?
SV.
Door guys, I can't believe I forgot that. Bluno. It's Bluno.
Luffy versus Bluno.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'll add them. Like, would it be like how I would actually add them?
I really don't know. I assume you'd know that. Can you not edit it? Would that fuck up our?
That's one thing. That's what I'm fearing.
Could you?
Let me.
I'll let you figure it out how you want to do it. Then I'm gonna hope it won't.
Uh,
I mean, if it does, you can probably just push back enough, and it'll take you back.
Please. Oh, good. It didn't.
And then
yeah,
get on that pitch.
Yeah. So I put on. So that one.
There's Bluno. Sweet.
And then let me just get one say quickly.
Have you gotten any more comments in your chat, by the way? While we're waiting?
I'll look at the comments in a second.
I probably can't. I was gonna say I would check, but would it say, like, if I was to bring up the video now, would it have them or not?
Come on.
Take your time, dude. We're waiting on your guy to get back anyway.
I'm back. Hello.
That was quick as hell.
What did I miss?
You didn't miss anything.
The pictures, honestly.
It didn't mess up with it. So we can just bring them up a bit.
Zangetsu Black's in here. Oh, let me fucking read all of his. Hey,
Zangetsu. You guys, because I need to go to the loo quickly. So you guys,
read these. Luffy versus Usopp. That is a phenomenal pre-time skip fight. Zangetsu. I agree that fight was cool. Mm-hmm. They got all the money from beating other pirates. How is Zoro alive? Let's see. First random fire powers in One Piece. You put a lot of fights. You're damn right we did.
Yeah, we did.
Panda. Part 8, baby. You're damn right. JoJo's. Yeah, facts. Exactly. Seasons 2 and 3 are part 3. Thank you, Zangetsu. Dragon Twister for the first time. Oh, true. That's a good point.
Oh, yeah.
That fight. So, the fight we were talking about with him and Hachi, Zoro and Hachi, was the first time he used Dragon Twister.
Oh,
so man. That's a move that he like just recently used in the manga. So that's really interesting. Perfect first mate. The swan heads had names. Lol. Oh, come my way. He cut oars. Yeah, I thought he cut oars. Yeah, Lucas is wrong.
He did. Yeah.
Yes, Zeha. Yeah. It's after. It got an AMV. Lol. Used 3D Blue Note. Yeah, I saw that 3D Blue Note. That shit's uncomfortable. Fuck that.
He's 3D Blue Note.
Yeah, there was like a weird 3D render. I imagine it was from one of the games or something.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know why that one wasn't on here because I was like, that is such a good freaking fight.
Yeah, that's the first use of Gear Second. That was huge.
Yeah.
That was like when One Piece, like, I guess we can start talking about it now. So the Luffy Bluno fight to me is like when One Piece kind of like took its first step into feeling like a lot more like anime to me. You know what I mean? Like it started very, because at this point all I had seen was Bleach, DBZ, Naruto, and Death Note. Those were the anime I had seen. And it felt, Gear Second really started feeling like an anime power up. I was like, yeah, and I was hyped as fuck as a high schooler. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I love it in the shows where they're like, well, I've got the secret power I've never used before. Let's give it a go, and it's freaking awesome.
It's a fun trope for sure.
I love it. I love all the tropes.
Also, like Oda's power ups are so fucking creative, man. Like, yeah. Because, you know, what's DBZ Super Saiyan? More ki, and now my hair's yellow.
It just changes a different color.
Teensy bit more creative. Same with Bleach. I really enjoy the Shikai Bankai thing in Bleach. And
I love it.
Qualification in Bleach was really creative. But, like, Oda's power-ups are so creative. Like, the idea of, like, I'm made of rubber, so my organs will just be fine if I pump them like a goddamn spring with blood.
Yes. Yeah. Although, I got to put a pin in that for one of the later fights and a later discussion with a little theory.
Okay.
So Luke, we're talking about Bluno Luffy. This is the first fight of Gear
All right.
What's your take?
Yeah.
I really don't have any good or bad opinions on it. I do remember Gear Second, but aside from that, it's like
this is essentially the like Frieza Super Saiyan Goku of One Piece, bro.
Yeah. So I think so you know how we were saying how like in terms of the power difference when Mihawk gets dropped in, it's like this, you're out of your league. When they first kind of go up against like CP9 are really hardcore.
That's what I really loved about that arc too, because like it was the first time that it felt like they just got so uniformly stomped. Like so stomped.
Yeah, and then they pull it back, but they all like get so freaking wrecked in all of their fights.
Yeah,
they have to give it their all because this is a do or die situation.
Yes.
And their enemies are so freaking powerful. And so, yeah, they pull out these, like literally everyone gets a new technique.
That's what I was, and I remember, and Luke can back me up because he's been watching our reviews forever. Ever since the beginning of Wano, what did I say about Wano, Luke? I said that Wano would be the post-time skip Enies Lobby.
Yes, definitely.
Because I was thinking they're all going to get more power-ups. This is the moment again where they're going to have their back to the wall.
Yeah, and they have because you've got now essentially.
Sanji's got the raid suit. Zoro's got Enma. Nothing for Chopper yet.
I was gonna say that we're at the point right now where it's basically
he's got Zeus.
Well, no, she doesn't have it anymore.
You know she'll get it back. Fuck off.
She'll get it back. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're at the point now where we're at Luffy versus Rob Lucci, but on steroids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, man.
Yeah.
And I'm still hoping that this is the first fight. Like this is, I still think it's going to end in failure. I still think that we've yet to get because you think, look at Crocodile. How many times did he get stomped before he won? Twice. He's only got stomped by Kaido once. He needs one more stomping.
Which, by the way, I was going to ask, how long do you think one was going to go on for? Because we're nearing it surpassing Dressrosa in length.
Oh, I mean, I knew from the beginning it was going to be the longest arc in One Piece.
It's so freaking chaotic because you've got so much going on.
Yeah, the only way it ends satisfyingly is if you have at least another 50 chapters, like at least.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah, I can see that happening.
But then at that point,
is that including the like the cool down period at the end of the arc?
I think you get another 50 to 60 chapters of Wano. I think Elbath is a shorter arc, like maybe 15 to 20, maybe even 10. Just like visiting it, yada yada, cool stuff with Usopp, and then you dive right into the final arc. Is how I see it going down.
I guess I could see it that way. Although I think the final arc is going to be split up into like different sections, kind of like
like 5 more years. But like, can we really trust his time frame on like?
No, we can never trust his time frame.
Oda is clearly a man who doesn't want to rush things. Like as much as possible, he clearly doesn't want to. So I think that even though he desperately he's saying now he wants it to end in 5 years. If 5 years come and he still feels like it needs another 2 years, he'll do it. I know he's the kind of guy who would.
But literally everyone will bow down and just be like, yeah, freaking have all the time you want.
Well, yeah, it's not a matter of like how much time they're giving him. It's a matter of his health and like he's getting old and he wants some free time and it's very taxing on his body, right? But like, because looking at it as like, this is my legacy. I can choose to be, he would look at it like this, of course, because I think he's a workaholic. I think he would say, I could choose to be lazy and end it now, or suffer for 2 more years and have a legendary thing that lasts forever. And I think that's how he's going to look at it, and I think that it'll go for as long as it needs to go.
The other problem as well is like writing endings is really difficult, and if it's the ending is hyped, like the ending to this series is so freaking hyped, and if it failed, then it would be like Bleach. The ending was so rubbish that people would.
Oh, it'd be even worse because One Piece has been like such a masterfully crafted story. Like the ending has to be good.
And I have no doubt that the ending will be one of quite possibly the best endings to end any manga series.
Again, let's put a pin in it because that goes back to the thing I want to say when we get to a certain fight. First use of Gear Second. He finally beats this guy. We've seen all the difficult techniques, and Luffy overpowers this difficult technique. There's not even like the hockey techniques
too, because like it's just, especially in the anime, it's amazing. Like he's doing Gatling so fast that all you see are the nubs of his arms. And I think in this fight he like does the thing where he grabs Bluno by the shoulders and then like just like headbutts into him so quickly. You also have the moment. I think it's this fight where is this fight where Bluno is doing that thing where he's like kicking, but like in like a wheel, he's like boom, 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 and he's like spinning towards him.
Yes, I think it is.
Shit. And then of course you have the moment where he hides in his door dimension and he tries to like sneak up on him. I like the moment where he turns Luffy's head into a door, which is of course before he goes Gear Second. This is a great fight. I don't think it's God. I do think it's excellent.
It's excellent, yeah. I'd say
okay.
What's the fight you've got there?
We should probably do the Wanze since the Wanze actually technically took place before this.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fucking Wanze. Listen, this has always been my favorite underrated fight in One Piece.
Okay, well, let you have this.
No one wants to talk about him. But here's the thing. Sanji is my favorite character in the story. His favorite Straw Hat. I love him. Closely followed by Usopp. They a lot of times they change places. Sometimes I say Usopp's my favorite. Sometimes I say Sanji's my favorite. But this fight, first of all, huge fight for Sanji because it is still to this day the one fight where Sanji uses his hands to fight. Remember, because he says, it's food. So it technically is not breaking my whole rule.
Yeah.
So that's cool in and of itself.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Then Wanze is one of those joke characters that's just so ridiculous, and I love him. Okay, so there's a joke right in the beginning of this fight that I fucking adore, where they keep going to attack him, and like he barely dodges it, and like his face is completely stoic, and they're like, "Holy shit, this guy is fucking stoic. He must have goddamn balls of steel. He didn't even flinch." And then it cuts to him, and he's like, "I almost died." And that happens like 2 or 3 times, and it like had me choking with laughter. And then when they first enter the room, he's like roller skating around with his food cart, like going up on the walls and the ceiling, and he's like, "What's up? I'm Wanze." Like, it's just so stupid. The nose ramen, he makes a goddamn like mech suit out of hardened ramen.
Yeah, it's freaking...
This right here to me is the quintessential joke One Piece battle that was given like, I don't know, 2 or 3 chapters at least 2 chapters. It's a long fight for a joke fight. I love it. This, when I think of One Piece shit, like wacky shit in One Piece, I think of this. To me, great. At least great.
Okay. We'll let you have that.
Yeah, fair.
Also, check out that Sanji dab, like in the picture.
Okay.
Oh crap! Yeah. Is that where dab came from? No.
He's fucking dabbing on him.
He actually is. He's dabbing before dabbing was cool. Holy crap! Okay. So Mr. Bean was the inventor of the selfie.
All right.
What is next? What have you got? Oh yeah, you've Zoro versus.
Although isn't a question? Isn't right. Luffy versus Usopp before?
Oh, you're right. Luffy Usopp takes place before this in Water 7.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Can I just say my favorite fight in all of One Piece? Like,
hands down, my top like 5 at the very.
I think we're probably. Let's face it. This is going to go in God Usopp.
Of course.
Yes.
Just put it straight up there now, and then we'll talk about it.
Slap it up there, bitch.
Okay, I'll put it up there. All right. Now, the reason why I love this fight so much is because, like you were saying, there are fights that have story stakes, and then there are fights that have personal stakes. This one has both.
Both,
both of them, because you have both sides that are like conflicts with each other that you can both understand, and it's like, who do you root for? Do you root for the sentimental like part of the sentimental argument, or do you root for the one like, no, we need this
logical
to achieve
our sentimental,
to achieve our dreams? Because that's basically with anything as well. Because sometimes in life, even though you don't want to do it, and you fight so hard, you see this a lot of times. Like you want the characters just fighting so hard to cling on to something that's been there for so long, and you can relate to that because you. Like you could have the thing that's not really the best, but it's like, this is your thing you have. This has been through so much with you that you just don't want to let it go. But and Usopp knows deep down that they do need Luffy's right, but at the same time, it's like, no, that's Kaya's ship. That's Kaya's ship, even though the whole series, even though it should be Mary's ship.
Yeah, Usopp felt the whole series like he was like a burden on the crew. Especially as the power gap continued to widen, of course, like with them being like monster strong and him still being Usopp, right? He's not like really super improving physically. It's mostly like the gadget shit. So he felt for a long time, I think, that the ship was his like one contribution. Like that's the one thing holding him to the crew, because that came from his island. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would like to point out, I love how we're talking about them like they're real people.
You're damn fucking right, we are.
That's the thing. They're fictional, but they feel so real.
They feel so real.
That's how good it is. Anyway,
that's how I like, and I would have it no other way. If I'm not talking about your characters like they're real people, you're doing something wrong.
Even though you find it a bit like, because when I said like, oh, the death of the Mary Sid, that made me cry, you were like, yeah, I didn't cry at that.
Who said that? Because I fucking cried at the death of the Mary.
I clean dead bodies. it takes a lot to make me cry.
Yeah, because you did something incredibly terrible to a child in your book series that I'll never forgive you for.
Ooh. You know, I have been on record saying we need more dead children in fiction.
Well,
no, this is right. This is what you do. You don't kill characters. You
gotta obviously you emotionally traumatize them first.
Yeah. You torture them beyond recognition.
Sure, for sure.
But yeah, going back to this fight, I love the fact that you go into this fight thinking that Usopp doesn't stand a chance or anything, and then
Usopp surprised,
and then you realize just how smart he is a tactician, because he knows how Luffy fights. So it's like, okay, what can I use? What is he made of? He's made of rubber. Okay, I'm just going to use all these sharp spikes around the battlefield.
Which the gas, the impact dial, like literally
using that from the last arc, so fucking good.
Yeah, and can I just say, there could have been a point where Usopp really could have won, because all he needed to do was, okay, have a glue star, stick Luffy to a rock, and then glass star, shoot glass at him.
Yeah. Yeah, that could have worked.
That could have worked because glass, because Luffy's made of rubber, so glass could have easily just cut him to pieces and made him go down at that point.
Because Luffy wins, but I feel like he only just won.
There was like, it's one of those situations where Usopp, in order to win, he would have had to get like, either you two play Smash Brothers.
No.
Oh, not for years.
Okay, so in Smash Brothers, like, there's heavy characters and there's light characters. So sometimes I'll play against my buddy. He'll be like Ganondorf, and I'll be like Toon Link or Pikachu or something. And like Ganondorf, you get like 3 good hits on a motherfucker, they're dead. But he's slow. Whereas with Pikachu, you get like you got to get like 10, 15 hits to get them dead. So that's how I felt about this fight. Whereas like Luffy, and you see this, he gets like 2 or 3 hits on Usopp the whole fight. Whereas Usopp is just railing Luffy with hit after hit after hit.
Yes,
and it's just a matter of the physical differences, right? But I have a couple things I want to say about this fight. So there's a line in here, because I think this is the moment where Oda was like, I'm going to make these motherfuckers that don't like Usopp understand that Usopp is great, right? Because there's a line that it's one of my favorite underrated lines, because I don't see people talking about this line very much, but there's a line where, this is right after he throws like rotten eggs into Luffy's face. And Luffy is still disrespecting him. He's like, would you stop with the jokes? We're fighting. Because Luffy, of course, looks at fights as like physical punching, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, stop with the jokes, we're fighting. And Usopp's like, you don't get it. I'm not joking. This is how I fight. This is how I've always fought. And it does me pretty damn well. Because people always look down on him because of that. They think he's a jokester, a trickster, but that's how he fights. And it's totally valid. And that's the moment where the readers understand too. Because I remember not liking Usopp that much until this moment. Where he yells like, no, this is how I fight. And it's totally valid. That's just phenomenal.
Yeah. Also, I've just got to say this comment that Songetsu Blacks has put in. It's Mary's ship. That's like saying your boss owns your car. Well, Mary did build the ship, so it
Mary
is
built it,
but he gave it to them.
It's ownership.
But then that's like saying Kaya doesn't own the ship.
Well, that's like saying my car instead of saying my car, it's fucking Toyota's car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get what he's saying, but then they can't be saying it's Kaya's ship then as well.
But it was. Thingy worked for Kaya, wasn't it? It was like the yeah. So, and obviously Usopp's in love with her, and they're like, so it's a gift from her,
obviously.
Yeah,
He probably wanted to come back around to her island with the same ship intact, yada yada.
Yeah.
I honestly want to know what Kaya's, because Kaya, I've seen them in the paper after time skip. I honestly want to know what her thoughts are, what happens to the Mary. I honestly want to know that.
Yeah, that would be a really. I hope they have a conversation. I would love to see that conversation.
Do you know what? I want to see what happens. I want to. Obviously, we won't.
I want to see them slam when they get back.
No. Do you know what's going to happen? He's going to go back and he's going to tell her the truth. Because before he was just lying.
Yeah. Because for the first time, he won't have to lie because his adventures are so good.
Yeah, he'll literally tell the truth, and he'll be like, "This happened."
And then people will still not believe him.
They're going to be like, yeah, right, Usopp.
But then he'll be like, no, look at these papers. And he'll probably just slam the papers down on the table.
They'll have all seen the papers because those papers go like...
Maybe there's a moment where they're like, not treating him as a liar.
Yeah.
They won't treat him as alive, but that'll be when he goes back home and he tells the stories and he's not lying. That'll be he has become a great hero of the sea. That's his dream fulfilled by going home.
That's
and
so good.
Could you
Thank you, I'm a
actually
writer.
could you actually see the ending of One Piece just being Usopp just there among like older Usopp just telling the adventures
that
of
will be
Luffy?
like
No,
minor.
no.
I don't think he'll be the final panel, but I think he'll be obviously like that'll probably be part of the final chapter.
I have again pin in that.
Okay, pin in that. Anyway,
That's a
next.
big thing.
Anyway, absolutely phenomenal fight. God Usopp can't argue with that one.
So good.
And
So good.
And actually starts off like the departure of the Mary, basically.
Yeah.
Next.
So
Next, Zoro versus
versus
Kaku.
Oh, so good. Okay, so
I'll let you take
add an
this one.
element of having Usopp and Zoro handcuffed to each other is
So
fucking
good.
everything.
No, wait. It's not. Usopp's not there. That was Soga King.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
yeah, Usopp's not Soggy King. I think we can discuss. That's like saying Caesar Clown is Gangster Gastino.
Can't believe a fucking that's so fucking rude of you to assume that all long-nosed people are the same.
Exactly. Oh dear me.
Stupid
But yeah.
game.
Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, so that whole element is great. Him using fuck you, I'm saying Usopp. Him using Usopp as like a sword, phenomenal, like great comedy.
So funny.
And then of course, even when that's done, like you have Ashura. That was what that movie was called, right? When he had like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
move, which is phenomenal. I think
So
some of the
good.
best swordplay in the series. I love like the Tempest kick that they can do. I remember the building getting cut in half a couple times in this fight.
Yes.
The clever ass giraffe moves, like
That
and
was
like
so
making the
weird.
giraffe cool.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a freaking
Oh,
giraffe. What the
and
fuck
also-
is this? This is so stupid. And then it's actually threatening.
Yeah.
Oda
And
is
also,
so good at making shit that should be dumb really cool. Like always.
Yeah. It's just so freaking weird.
Yeah.
Then again, have you seen giraffes fighting?
No, they're fucking badass. They whip
They're
their necks
really,
together, yeah.
they're really scary.
yeah. It's like, all right. The one of the Power Rangers series, there is one of the swords is a giraffe, and its move is just boom, 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 with its
Whipping.
neck. Yeah,
That's
just
terrifying.
whipping at 9,000 miles per hour.
That's ridiculous. But this fight was. You're right. It's I would put this either excellent or possibly God.
Is it
Yeah,
as
it's
good
one of
as
Zoro's
Ace
best
versus
fights, in my
Blackbeard?
opinion. It's because like basically every Straw Hats fight in Eni's lobby is one of their best fights.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
let me actually look at what else we have in excellent here.
We have Zoro versus
So I'm
Mihawk.
looking. I can see. You know what? I do think it deserves God because I think it's better than most of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm glad we made the God Usopp tier. We needed
Yes.
another tier.
Yeah. Okay, you're
Yeah.
right. So on my list, I got Frankie versus.
For Kuro, I can find
This is
that.
a good fight.
I love this fight.
They kind of they really started melding into each other because I remember Kumadori was also weirdly part of this fight because he was trapped in the refrigerator
Yes.
Yeah,
and he kept
well-
like having to open the refrigerator to hand him different drinks. So I mean, this is kind of like Frankie's introduction. I know he fought the fucking Nero guy on the train, but like no one cares about that guy, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a big introduction to Frankie. I thought it was fun. He boxed the fuck out of him like a goddamn airbag. But
Yeah.
other than that, not super memorable. So for me, this would just be probably average.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah,
Aaron.
yeah. Even though I like it, I like it for Frankie's introduction. I think my favorite part of the fight is just him there, like you said with the fridge, where he's there to say to Chopper, "Get me
Keeps giving him
cola."
different drinks, like tea
Yeah.
and
Also, this guy, Sid,
Mm.
this guy, he just reminds me of Sippy from Rainbow because of the sipping of the lips.
I can't unsee that.
Oh, by the way, fun fact, I got to meet the English dub voice actress for I don't remember the name of this character, but Chapa Papa, the one that the person that
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I got to
Fury.
meet her at a con, and
Oh,
it was
wow.
really interesting because obviously that's a very minor character, so it's not like she advertised herself as that character. So she had like a banner of a bunch of different characters she had played, and I didn't know like a lot of them, but I was just like, oh, whatever, she's there, I'll go up and talk to her. And then I was telling her about how much I like One Piece, and she was like, oh, I was in One Piece, and I was like, oh, really? Who were you? And she was like, Choppa, and I was like, oh my god,
That's amazing.
Red. You know how
amazing.
you know how you said you like Chopper a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The woman in the Japanese One Piece, she's the same woman that voices Pikachu.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. Gotta get.
Oh my
it's
word!
cute,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean-
with this fight, I do want to bring up one other point. I remember enjoying the part where they're like floating above the water, and like Frankie's like grabbed onto him, and then
Yes!
he's using Skywalk to like barely stay up.
Yes!
And he's like, "Let go of me!" So,
Yes.
It was a good fight. It was a very, very
all
good
around
fight.
good fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chopper versus
C-
Midori.
the perfect transition.
This fight
Yeah.
is great. One of
I love
Chopper's
it.
best fights, honestly.
Yeah. And the introduction of the monster point.
Yep,
So this-
exactly.
so when-
And that alone, to me,
Yeah.
easily puts it at God.
Yeah.
I
When
would
that
agree.
happened- When that happened, I was genuinely scared. I was
Yeah,
like, what?
Chopper was
the
generally
fudge is
scary in
this?
that.
Like, what
Oh, and the
fudge is
noise
this?
they used in the anime for his
Oh,
growl.
Well, no,
Yeah.
the best bit I loved about it was actually right at the end of the fight, because you don't see him pound Commodore into the dirt. It's when Frankie gets on the balcony and then Monster Chopper walks out holding him, and then
He
just
throws him.
Yeah.
he just casually tosses him, and the guy freaking flies 1,000 miles
You
away.
see, there's a scene where people on like the other section of the island find him, and they're like, "Ooh, "That's fucking Kumadori from CP. What the hell?"
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, frick, this thing is strong.
Yeah.
Like,
Strong as
I-
hell.
fucking hell.
Terrifying, completely going against like the cute like marketing appeal of Chopper.
Can I just say?
And even before the Chopper or the Monster Point element of this fight, like you see Chopper go all out. I remember him using like all of his strongest techniques. It was phenomenal. I would say one of Chopper's best fights.
Yeah, definitely. Can I just say, Red? This
For
this fight, you can see similarities to what happened to Gon in
Oh, yeah.
Hunter x Hunter.
Oh
Because
yeah.
of the fact that when you see Gon just snap and they're like, what is this?
And what price we have to pay for getting that form? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's
Sure.
Yeah.
Even down to throwing, because obviously Gon like yeeted fucking P2 through the forest, and she crashed through like 27 feet.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it when they do that. I love it when it's just nope.
They crashed through like a million fucking things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
somehow
because again,
survive.
like you said, you don't expect it coming from Chopper.
Something you'll
of all
appreciate
people.
about Hunter x Hunter, Sid, whenever you watch it, is it's a lot more gruesome. It might as well be an M-rated anime. Like you wouldn't expect it from like the pictures you see, but like in that fight, like he literally like bashes this thing's head in until it's a pulp.
Nice. Okay.
You never see
so-
that in One Piece.
When where are we putting this in God?
God,
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Monster Point makes it.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
So
So good. These that
what's-
also points out that every single Zoan type has a monster option.
Well, yeah, because I
And-
mean, I don't know if
He's a
I know
freaking
this is
reindeer.
confirmed, but my theory is that that's clearly just him. Like that's him artificially activating the awakening of his zone, like through drugs, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's done. So they've all got this awakened thing. So that was a freaking reindeer. Okay. Imagine if it was a
that
carnivorous
was
zone.
technically the awakening of the human fruit, if you think about it.
Oh, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
human fruit.
Yeah.
So what the hell?
I would
so what
imagine
the
like
hell?
a Bigfoot Yeti thing, maybe. I don't even know.
Well, hasn't it come out as canon? Like, didn't Oda say like
Yeah.
if a human ate it, they'd just
They become more
enlightened?
human, and he meant that in the sense that they'd become enlightened, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would entail.
Yeah,
but-
he's kind of trolling.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
But I'd
think.
like to
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I like to think that if a human ate the human fruit, nothing would happen, but you'd still get the effects of the weaknesses,
swim.
basically.
Yeah, what happened with?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I always like the theory. It's not probably not true, but I like the theory that like the human fruit that Chopper ate was actually the ancient human fruit. So it's more of like a caveman thing than actual human.
Hmm.
Because look at like what his form. It looks more Yeti like. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. Just remember watching in the anime when it's the flashback and he's eating the fruit. He only ate half of the fruit. And
Yeah, but we've seen
obviously-
that people do that before. That doesn't
Yeah.
that doesn't affect shit.
No, that's a good point. It's just
Yeah, I mean, that's
was
interesting.
just
I don't want to
because-
shit on your theory, but like usually, because essentially the way I look at devil fruits is that there's like the spirit or soul of the thing or the power or the animal in there, and then once you take a bite, it like transfers over.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
don't have
mean?
to. Yeah, you don't have to eat the entire thing.
Yeah.
That's fine, I just
So
always
I
thought
don't I don't know. It's either I don't really know, honestly. I hope one day Oda answers an SBS question about it.
Yeah,
It seems like, every other fucking zone fruit, they just turn into the thing. Like Lucci turns like straight up into a leopard. Like there's no like weird. Like, whereas, like, why wouldn't Chopper just have like an actual human form where he looks human?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why is that a thing?
Yeah, strange. What's next?
Nami versus Khalifa.
One, I would argue. Ooh, I'm curious. I guess we'll answer this in this tier list here. What is the better Nami fight? Double Finger or Khalifa?
Oh, definitely Double Finger.
Double Finger. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the only reason Nami is fighting Khalifa is because Sanji didn't want to fight her.
Yeah, but I don't mind that actually. I kind of like
that's not a problem.
because she has a cool moment where she's almost like disappointed and she's like, "Oh my god, Sanji."
Yeah, but at the same time, that's the only reason this fight is happening.
Yeah.
True. I mean, that doesn't make it. That's not a problem.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's the reason why this fight is happening.
Mhm.
Right.
Because she's now got the better climate hat, but she's better with it, and again, it's tactical thinking. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, no, I like this fight. Like you said, this is like the really good climb attack. I believe it implemented the dials into it. So more cool Usopp stuff as well since he built it. This is when really Nami starts coming into her own with fighting the Mirage stuff. The soap power was really unique and interesting. I remember this fruit in particular, Khalifa's fruit, being the first fruit where I started thinking, like, it started finally dawning on me, like, the devil fruits are weird because they're definitely not like naturally occurring because like there's things like soap. Yeah, it's
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, well that was I remember when I was first watching it, I was like, is this like some weird like vengeful like chaos god who's just throwing these fruits down for fun? But like I have a feeling there's more of a scientific explanation since Vegapunk will be involved. It's interesting, but like I think the fact that these aren't all just naturally occurring elements. You have stuff like mochi and soap and mirrors. Like, I guess mirrors occur in nature, but you know what I mean, right? Like, I feel like it opened up a lot of questions about devil fruits to me. But the point being, the fight itself, it's an enjoyable Nami fight. I enjoy it. The soap power is really interesting. When she turns into a sheep is interesting. But to me, I agree. Double finger fight's better. For me, it would be great.
Yeah, I'd say it's great. Yeah. I think the devil fruits were made during the Void Century when there was some kind of war going on.
Yeah,
I'm going to be so curious about how those work.
Actually, that if Toki is from an era before the Void Century, then that kind of puts a wrench in that theory.
No, I think she's I think she's from the Void Century. This is how I don't remember. She said 800 years ago, and when was the Void Century again?
800. No.
Well, we've done 2 years of 2 years after that. So
I'd have to check the timeline.
You will.
Like, since she said 800 years ago, it was it put alarm bells off in my head that like, oh, she was probably born during the Void Century.
Yeah.
She knows Joy Boy, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope that's one of the reasons why I hope that silhouette from the last chapter is actually Toki. I think it'd be really cool to like talk to her.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I mean, if it's Hiyori, like I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. Like I really care about Hiyori. Like the only thing that I care about with Hiyori is that Zoro definitely slept with her. And good for him.
Right. I mean, 1, yes. 2,
like literally and
literally.
It's gonna be weird when Hiyori and Momo
I know,
meet
yo,
again.
Momo, I fucked your sister.
No, it's gonna be weird because they're gonna be there like, oh, hiya, big brother. Wait, no, you're the big one now.
You're the big sister now.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I guess you know what that makes me care about if it's Hiyori a little bit more. But anyway, what's next?
Sanji versus
This is one of my favorite Sanji fights.
Oh,
yes.
Diable motherfucking Jambe, dude.
So good.
And the wolf fight basically.
He's just crying wolf. I love how he's actually
pretending
crying
that
wolf.
he's related to Robin, and I was so
Yeah.
proud of Sanji for not falling for that shit.
It was so funny. I like it's also the great line of like, oh, like, you know, my hands are for cooking. Like, oh no, what was it? No,
He said, I think he said,
food
food
cooked
is a
from
gift from the gods, and
if it's burnt,
spices
it's
are a
from
gift
hell.
from the devil.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, so good. So
Yeah.
good. And it's just
There's
a
not a
weird
lot
way
to
to
talk
activate
about because you know it's a lot of kicking, but like aesthetically, it's so good.
Yes.
Like the Diablo Jambe fucking makes it. I think that really adds to Sanji's aesthetic amazingly. And this was just, you know, like I said, this arc is full of like a lot of the Straw Hats like best fights, and this is one of Sanji's best fights. To
Definitely.
me, easy, excellent.
Yeah, easy, excellent. Yeah, completely agree.
Now the big one.
Lucci.
I mean,
Luffy
it's got to go Garu Sop, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Like, this is one of the when you think One Piece,
Yeah.
you think of this fight.
Yeah.
This is
100%.
This
Goku
was-
Frieza. This is the Naruto Pain. This is the Ichigo Ukiura. Like, bro, it's
Yes.
just-
And again, it's a very personal fight as well because it's
Yep.
Luffy basically the last step of the journey to rescuing Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because Oda set it up so brilliantly too because he's got that like artificial time limit going on where it's like the second she walks through those gates, she's unreachable. And then of course add the tension even more. You have the fucking Buster Call happening. The fight's phenomenal. You know, Lucci's fast as hell. You have all of the techniques, the Rokoshiki techniques. That's great. And then of course that final and then you have Gear Third, the introduction of that.
Yes!
The huge ass fist through the wall. And then that final fucking Gatling where he's just like screaming bloody murder as he fucking just rails him through that wall.
So good.
And then ending off, I don't even know if this counts as part of the fight, but I'm going to, where he just literally can't move. And you have Usopp take off the Sogeking mask and shouting to him like, you gotta get up. Like I know you can get up.
It's kind of I
Yeah.
count that as part of the fight.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's definitely part
so
of it.
like, and then that moment, and then finally culminating in the Mary one last time. Like it's just
It's so
one of the
good.
most phenomenal, narratively perfect things that One Piece has ever done.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
it's so good.
And also the longest fight in One Piece up until that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to go back and reread those.
I have
chapters.
there was an AMV on YouTube which it was all of the Ennies Lobbies fights to Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force.
I
and
have
it's
very
so
good
beautifully
memories.
edited.
Remember how I told you I would watch like a lot of Bleach reviews before I was ever into One Piece? And there was a guy I like back in the day, there was a guy I watched who reviewed Bleach, but he had like one of those cringy like 30-second long intros that people would make for their YouTube channels,
Ugh.
you know? And but like I remember he had like a fight from each of the big three in this intro, and it was to music. And the fight from One Piece was Rob Lucci versus
Rob
Lucci.
Lucci.
And I remember, you know, having not seen One Piece, I was like, "What the fuck is this leopard man?"
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. You can't judge a book by its cover,
Yeah.
or in this case, you can't judge a fight by its AMV.
Oh yeah, and then the last thing I'll say too, just as we exit the CP9 fights, it's just CP9 was such a good arc because like the fights just hit so different in that arc. Like the skills or whatever, like the Rokushiki, that's what it's called, right? The Rokushiki skills.
Yeah,
Like those skills really added so much to the fight. Like it really made it so goddamn anime. The skywalk shit, the moving around at high speed, because you know every anime has that like high speed movement shit. You had Flash Step and Bleach. You know, like that's
After
I love
Image and
that.
Dragon
Made it so
Ball.
goddamn anime. There's really cool panels. I was rereading some of the fights recently, and like there's cool panels where they're jumping around all around the sky. It's just like it made it so goddamn anime, and I love it.
I just can't wait till my son's old enough that I can sit down and be like, son, we're gonna watch something.
Yeah,
You're
and
gonna love
hopefully they'll fucking One Piece Kai by then, so you can watch it with goddamn okay pacing.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I
man.
can't wait for the moment when I eventually have kids as well, because I'll be showing them stuff like this and Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
I ain't
Yeah.
fucking having kids, first of all. I highly recommend against that. Just that's Red's advice. But fucking at the moment, I'm showing my girlfriend One Piece, but I'm having her read the manga because fuck that goddamn pacing in the anime.
Oh yeah,
This is why I stopped watching the anime.
Yeah.
Is the pacing.
because you remember when you did the One Piece anime, it is trash, and you showed the sumo fight.
freaking
And that
Yeah.
went
You know what
on
I'm
for
talking
like
about,
about 30 seconds.
No, it was a minute
Sumo
something.
match in the
Oh,
Wano anime went on for like an ungodly amount of time.
It was. I remember watching that one. I think it was like a minute and 47 seconds. It was
It
stupid.
was
For
like
two
a
panels.
single page in the manga.
Yeah.
Like why? Literally
And
why?
you could do it, Luffy! And it's like, what?
Uh,
Yeah, it's really interesting because this honestly, Wano has been all right in the anime. There's been some good ass episodes, but like they still run into that pacing shit occasionally.
it's because they need to not catch up. I guess. but-
know.
Yeah.
God,
But
if they could
go
just come around to
seasonal.
seasonal, like please,
Hey, but what if
seasonal.
they? Or they just did filler episodes that were
The
actually
cover
based on
stories.
the cover stories.
Yes.
They've got canon filler, I guess.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, it wouldn't even be filler. It would be
Yeah.
canon, and they would just have to add extra shit like to bridge the cover stories. Yeah,
Exactly. It's all they had to do. Anyway, Sanji
and
versus
that Eneru one might even be fucking important one day. Like if he ever comes back.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be so good if he did. He
hope
won't,
does.
but he should.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Sanji versus Absalom.
Oh shit! I forgot. Yeah, this fight's fun. I think the added like element of you're not fucking marrying Nami is really funny.
Yes.
The whole
Yeah,
you have the invisibility fruit that I've always wanted is really funny.
Because,
Him like casually skipping into the wedding hall, like you remember that scene where he's skipping? Like he's humming coming in.
Yes.
That's all great. And I think the last thing I'll say about this fight too is the constant running gag where they're both fighting and they keep like getting like little glances of Nami in the wedding dress and they're both like, oh my god, I thought it was an angel, but it's just Nami. So that fight, hilarious and very fun to watch.
Yeah, very, very good.
I think my favorite part of this fight is just Sanji explaining why he wanted the clear through, and he's going through this impassioned speech, and Friday is going, "Girls, and I want to save the girls. Don't stop it, girls."
Girls back.
Yeah, he's
Girls back.
trying to say
And
it's
that, by the
like
way,
And yeah,
this culminating all the way to Wano, because my favorite part of early Wano, because obviously now that we're in
Yes.
Onigashima, it's all been amazing. But early Wano, when he goddamn activated that raid suit, and
Yes.
it was like he's got invisibility. I was like, as a fucking Sanji fan, I was like, you did it, buddy. You're
It was-
dreaming.
and now he doesn't need the clear through.
He's like,
so
who?
good.
And then he's like sitting there, like, oh my god, my family, the family I hated, has given me this dream. Wow, what a conflict!
It's so good. It's so
Yeah, phenomenal. I would put it at great though. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely
yeah,
great.
yeah. I'd put it at great because it's
not
very
on,
fun.
Like, Luffy crocodile level. Or...
No.
No.
But now you get to fanboy on this fight, Red.
Which one is it? Oh,
Usopp versus
Usopp
Perona.
versus Perona.
okay. Listen, this is probably. Ooh, is it my favorite fight in the series? It's so close. No, probably not. It's definitely top 3 though. I honestly, unironically, I think my top 3 favorite fights in the series are Luffy Katakuri, Luffy Rob Lucci, and then this one. And like this fight is just like the ultimate Usopp fight. Everything happens. You have Perona, right? So let's start. How we start off. Perona's one-shotting everyone in this arc because she has this power that's so goddamn broken. Like you could be literally god of the verse, and she can make you just like too apathetic or sad about yourself to do anything. She's like downing Zoro and Sanji. I don't even remember if she hits Luffy with it, but I think she does.
Yeah. She hits everyone. She just wipes out everyone.
She's downing motherfuckers. It's insane. And like you have this such a funny moment where Usopp just stands triumphantly like, she's like, why isn't this working? He's like, I'm already the most pessimistic motherfucker here.
And then you get the classic, what?
One of the
It's
funniest
so good.
jokes in the entire series. And then you have Perona like try to cheer him up, like, it's gonna be okay.
I just
that leading into her phenomenal. I love the way she fights the astral form shit, hiding her real body, fucking with him by like reaching into his chest, pretending like she's gonna crush his heart. The return of Soge King, which is one of my favorite things ever. I have a Soge King mask hanging in my room right the fuck now. I love Soge King.
Nice.
What else? The fake bug thing, the return of the 10-ton hammer. We got an upgrade here. It's everything. It's just the ultimate Usopp fight. There has never been a better Usopp fight since.
Yeah, it's
So to
so
me,
good.
This, I know it's blasphemous. It goes to God for me.
Yeah,
That-
no,
that's-
I
you guys
agree.
can overrule
Yeah,
the
you
agree.
can.
I agree.
We had my favorite fight in God Usopp, so you get your favorite fight.
No, I completely agree.
I was going to put
It's
it on
so-
God, not God Usopp.
Oh, well, we can put it in God Usopp if you want.
I don't, listen, I love it, but objectively, I can't say in good faith that it's as good as those two up there. Like,
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
It doesn't, yeah, it's very good, but it deserves God, not God Usopp. I need to be
Yes.
reasonable here.
That's fair. Robin and Chopper versus
Ooh, I
Hogback.
do like this one, actually.
I can't remember it.
I can't
Okay, so
remember it.
I'll remind you of the part that I remember the most. So there's emotional weight with Chopper and Hogback,
Yeah.
of course, because
Yeah,
like
'cause
he
he
looks at
idolized
Hogback
him.
like he was one of his heroes, and he's actually
Yeah.
like become like a Frankenstein, like corpse robber, horrific. Like the shit he was doing to Sindri too was like awful.
Yeah, that's
like he
really
like
messed up.
wanted her to be resurrected to be like his wife, and he was making her like lick the floor and creepy.
It's like
kinky
he said.
shit.
He said, "I don't care about the soul. I only care about the body."
Yeah, it was really creepy. And then, but like fight wise, the moment I remember was a really cool combo attack with Chopper and Robin, where Chopper grabs Hogback. I think it was Hogback. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he grabs Hogback for like a suplex, like a flip him over the back and like land him on the head. And then Robin just keeps growing like feet on Chopper's feet to make it like the ultimate fucking suplex.
Oh yeah.
So that was a
Yeah.
cool move, and then of course it ends by Hogback getting crushed by oars in a beautiful thing of irony.
Yeah.
Somehow living, by the way, that's classic Oda shit. I super thought he was dead when I watched that for the first time.
Well, you thought that with Pell when he survived
Yeah, I
that
know.
nuclear bomb.
I always fall for it.
Mm.
But so yeah, it's good. It's very short, but I do like moments of it. So to me, it goes probably average.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say average.
Okay.
Yeah. I think because there's the Zorro shadow zombie there and the Robin shadow zombie there as well, so you'd think it would have been more of a threat. But I can't really remember. I can't really remember the fight at all. I just remember it being such a huge emotional weight, like you said, for Chopper, because it's like his idol is actually an asshole.
I definitely enjoyed the couple. It wasn't a lot, but the couple moves we got of a Robin Chopper combo. That was what really made it fight wise for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now is this Zoro Ryuma we see?
Yes.
This is a great fight for sure. I think it's a teenth short, but what we get is great. In fact, in the manga, it's like one chapter, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was a short fight. It was enjoyable, but this is so okay.
Right. Remember, how it plays out in the series.
Yeah, because this is basically like the beginning of the seeds leading into Wano.
Yeah, I remember how this fight plays out in the series is that it actually cuts to the fight being over. From Brooks' perspective, and then like there's a flashback to how the fight went. He was like, so Brooks watching it, and it looks like Zoro lost because it's like showing like Zoro all tired and shit, and then Ryuma on fire for some reason, and then you're like, what the fuck happened there? And then it's like, and then Brooks like, here's what happened, and then it's like one chapter fight.
Yeah, it was so okay. My issue with the fight, although it was really awesome, and obviously it sets up Wano, and he gets a power up because he gets the sword. That was Brooks' shadow.
Yeah,
I felt like Brooke
he had to
should
kind
have
of come in and do it for Brooke.
Yeah, like Brooke. I realized that like Brooks' only fight really was because I tried.
Guy probably.
Yeah, it was the spider one. Yeah, exactly. Like I tried to get them all to be one-on-ones. If it was like obviously it's Robin and Chopper versus Hogback because, like I said, it's an emotional one for Chopper, so it needs to be in there. And Hogback's a big villain in this arc. But it should have been Brooke with this one because Brooke doesn't have any fights. Decent fights.
I agree. But I suppose they're trying to say like it's just possible Brooke wasn't powerful enough for that. I mean, it is Ryuma's body, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but yeah, I mean, Brooke should have at least gotten something to do. I do remember really enjoying the thing with the spider though, because like I always love when he appears with that really creepy yo ho ho ho, you know.
Yeah, and he just.
But yeah, just for how, I will say they're cool moments. They start out in the building. They like cut out of the building. They're running up the ceiling or like the roof together. They clash at the very top of the roof. Zoro has that move where, how does he set him on fire again? I'm trying to remember how that worked.
I think he just slashed so hard it ignited. I think.
Maybe. I don't know.
Which also
we'll have to go back and look at that.
It was cool. It was very dynamic. It had cool choreography, but like it's very short. Not incredibly memorable. So to me, probably average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
we've
Is this the squad versus Oars, or do we got one?
yeah
more?
yeah I can on the list it's the squad versus Oars, so I could swap it
Yeah.
with Luffy versus Moria.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the squad versus Oars is, in my opinion, one of the best fights in the series. Like,
It's
like
so
when I go
good.
top 5,
Yes.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I was agreeing
Yeah.
with you.
Oh yeah, because like,
They
this
all
is
come together.
the ultimate of Oda's writing teamwork. Like, there's never been a better teamwork battle in the series. Like this, and then when they fight the Pacifista and Sabaody, that's about like those are the two best teamwork battles in the whole series. This one's a lot more drawn out and like a lot more detailed. And I just think that there's never been a better fight that like perfectly implements all of their abilities. Like, you have Chopper's like knowledge of the doctor, like, hey, put pressure on the spine like this. You have Sanji like running up and kicking him. You have Usopp shooting the salt into the mouth. Zoro stabbing his swords into the columns of the building and using those. Like, is just phenomenal. One of the best like full straw, like the whole Straw Hat crew versus one enemy fights in the whole series. To me, it's an easy god.
Yeah.
Can't
It's
argue
so
with that.
good.
Now, Luffy versus Moria, or
If either of you two
Nightmare.
have anything to say, I know, like, I never want to like steal the show. By the way, it's
No,
just
no,
that-
it's fine. It's fine. If you, it's
You're
fine.
pretty
because-
much your things. You're nailing it on the head.
Yeah, you're
Like,
nailing it.
You're literally doing it right. So, like, okay, with Luffy and Moria, he was kind of, if I remember correctly, it was short. He just gut punched him a
Yeah.
load of times.
Yeah, it was.
No, but the Shadow Luffy element was cool as fuck. Like, we can't
Yeah,
deny
Shadow Luffy was awesome. That was hilarious, and
That's
just
like
like what the
out of
fudge?
nowhere power up, but
Yeah.
it's so cool. Like, he's just in the woods, and like that concept was so neat to me. It's like, hey, this is a shadow of like a samurai. We put it in you, bam. Now you can use a sword, and then most people can handle like 5, if that. And then like they cut to like, oh my
By the way, we're going to shove 100 in you.
God.
It's like, the thing is as well, like Moria is the weakest of the warlords.
physically, sure.
Like, his ability is awesome, but you've got to go through jump through a lot of hoops to get it. You have to capture the really strong person, and then set up a light source so you can cut their shadow free. Like, he would not be able to do this to Mihawk or someone else.
no.
He wouldn't. He could only. That's what his thing was. He was going to just amass an enormous army of relatively strong.
Yeah, because he got
people.
so fucking demoralized by Kaido.
Yeah.
And I
'Cause he
love
just-
too that in Wano we got that one shot of like Prime Moria, and he was looking good. Prime Moria was looking pretty fucking fly.
But yeah, this fight,
I think
he's
it's
all right.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't have strong feelings on this fight because then again,
Mm.
I don't really like Moria as a character.
Fuck,
I love his-
I don't know. I like Moria a lot.
I like him. He's got a great design. I love his laugh and his voice. I love his power. I think his power is freaking awesome. And it's just, as a fight, it was, whoa, you've made yourself big. This is easy to hit. Oh, you
For
vomited a
sure, I
shadow.
think the fight was definitely simple. That was like a total like release fight, like the tension release. I
Yes.
looked to the moment where he's controlling Oars and he goes to punch Luffy, and Luffy just like stops it with zero fucking effort, just like full stop. Like, there were some amazing moments. Is it like like up there with the greats? Probably not, but like Shadow Luffy alone to me brings it to excellent.
See, I would have said great.
Yeah, and I would have said great as well.
Okay, I'm overruled.
Yeah.
Shadow Luffy is what does it for me. Like, I thought Shadow Luffy was
Fair,
so
fair
fucking
enough.
cool.
Fair enough.
Shadow Luffy was great, but like, yeah, it's the end fight of that arc. The end boss fight is everyone versus Oars, and then like
For
you said,
sure,
this
and this was just kind of wrapping it up.
yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now then, this has got to be the most depressing fight in the
Is
series.
this the whole squad versus the Pacifista?
No,
This
it's
is
the whole
all
squad
against Kuma.
versus Kuma.
Where Kuma just wipes all of them out.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
a Pacifista.
No, it was Kuma.
no, it's Kuma.
No, it's Kuma.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about the original. I'm thinking of when they were fighting the one Pacifista first,
No,
and then
no,
remember another one showed up after that.
No,
Yeah, no,
it's
this is-
we have Kizaru coming in, and then he goes off to fight Rayleigh, and then it's Kuma just basically
Right.
wiping
You're
out.
talking about not really the fight, but just Kuma coming in and booping them all away.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
You see, so I assumed that what you had on this list here was the first. Remember the fight that they had, the teamwork fight, where
Yeah,
they all
yeah.
defeated one Pacifista by using their strongest moves.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh,
That's what I thought you were talking about. Because honestly, this Kuma thing really isn't much of a fight. I suppose we can still use it because they attempt, and there's a lot of emotional weight there.
we can use it, and it's basically again, it's one of the more if I was going to pick the most emotional moment in the whole of One Piece, this is probably the quintessential moment, because you have that narrator at the end going, on that day, the Straw Hats, led by Luffy, completely and utterly annihilated.
That's the thing.
It was basically the ending of Infinity War before Infinity War.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great comparison.
Yeah, they got destroyed. Like that's I know it's not much of a fight. You're right, but it was a big enough conflict that had a huge emotional impact.
Because remember, I was just going to say, remember. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll add this entire the entire fucking Sabaody Archipelago arc is actually like, it's my second favorite arc after Water 7. Like it's such a good arc. You know, people hype on Marineford, and Marineford is great, but like I've always preferred the arcs that are like very Straw Hat centric. And I love this arc to death. And like this is one of the reasons why, because Oda does I wish more stories did this. Like, what a goddamn 180. He makes you believe hundreds of chapters, like, all right, the next fucking island, Fishman Island. From the end of Enies Lobby, it's like, we're going to Fishman Island now. Oops, Detour. Now we're going to Fishman Island. Oops, Duval. Now we're going to Fishman Island. And then, bam, gone. Like, and now we got a whole fucking hundreds of chapters divert to different shit. And like, what an amazing twist. You go from the whole squad, we're doing shit, adventuring, yada, yada, and now it's like solo Luffy save Ace. What an amazing twist in the story, and like it throws everyone off whenever you show them. This moment's emotional. It marks one of the biggest turns of the story in the entirety of One Piece. Easily got Usopp.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why it's in there. That's literally why it's in there.
And also as well, I just want to say as well, it's just intense as well, because you have that moment when Kizaru comes in and he completely decimates Zoro, and they're like, Zoro, and you see like they're just like begging for him to get up, and if Rayleigh hadn't come in, Zoro would have died. He would have straight
remember
died.
At first, Robin rolled him out of the way, and then he just like steps on it.
Yeah. And again, it's just like you said, it's one of the biggest turning points of the series, because they've suffered defeat before, but never on this scale.
I was watching it in the university library, just like I just had to pause it and go, "Freaking what just happened?"
Yeah, and again, like you said, Red, it's great when series can do this, where basically the bad guys in this situation win.
Oh my god, yes, we need more moments like that. The more moments you have like that, the more the victories feel believable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now,
like, can you guys think of any other series that does like such a 180 like this, where it's like you're going down a certain plot path, you think you know where you're going, and then bam, like full 180?
I can. You know which one I'm going to think of. The moment in Dr. Stone recently where Senku got shot.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. I don't think it was to the scale, but it was good.
I don't think it was to the scale, but it was like. But if you're talking about like when series do a complete 180,
yeah, that's fair.
That's one moment I pick.
That was a good moment. You know, it's funny too. Obviously, Fairy Tail ended up being kind of a joke towards the end. But I remember.
Actually,
don't even get me started.
No.
May I just say what I was going to say? I remember the time skip of Fairy Tail very well, and I really, really thought that they were gonna do like I was such an idiot. I thought that the author had the fucking cojones to kill off all those motherfuckers. You remember what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, yeah.
I was like, oh my god, and then because it like acted like it was gonna be a new main character, you know, with this like the kid that showed up. I was really hyped about that, but then it didn't. And I will say too, got to say it with Hunter x Hunter, with Gon. Basically, the main character loses his powers a la Ichigo Final Getsuga Tensho style, but unlike Kubo, he sticks with it, and he actually does lose his powers, and you switch main characters. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I was going to say one thing that did a 180 recently. The thing that comes to mind as well is Mission Yotsuko Family as well, because you have this fight that's going on with the main character and like one of the henchmen of like the main villain organization, and then after the fight he's completely exhausted, and then he sees this one guy literally puts his hand on the main character's chest, and then then he's like, "What was that all about?" And then you just see blood geysering.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and then that gives, and then that's like, okay, so we have the family focusing on him, which means the mansion that they live in is ours for the taking. We're gonna raid the mansion.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I read I actually did read the first. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I did read the first chapter of.
Yeah,
Yoda's
what did you
Pet
think
Family.
of it? Just general.
I certainly interesting. I'll have to read more. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah, so that's
Diving
that's
into
one that's one I think of when it goes a
Okay.
complete 180 as well.
Fair.
So
yeah.
now Luffy versus Magellan.
Right, this is
Oh,
where we take
top
all the
tier.
pins out. Luffy is going to die by the end.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that. So are we counting? Okay, so obviously you have the first one where he's fighting him and he gets fucking like bukakied with poison, and then you also are we also counting where he's fighting him with the wax fruit like mallets? Because no.
No. So this is like it's
first
all the
one.
final fights where they're defeating him. Like all the fights are like the end fight. So that's why we didn't have all three crocodile fights.
Mr. 3 with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So technically, it should be Luffy and Mr. Free versus thingy.
I mean,
so-
honestly, I don't mind including both, like the fight where he destroys Luffy, and then also that one. Like you can kind of lump them into one if you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair. Yeah, you can do that. So, right. Luffy gets poisoned and wrecked in the first one. Chopper also points out that when they found out about Gear 2, Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd, that they're putting an enormous amount of strain on his body. And then to save him from all the poison, freaking Ivankov heals him, but he said it's going to take off like 10 years of his life.
The amount of things that have happened to Luffy in this series, or that are taking things like lifespan off of him, it's like obvious that he's going to die the same way Roger did. Like when he's done, like the series is going to end with him dying. Like it has to.
100%, it has to.
And like I think that the message from Luffy is going to be like, it's not the length of your life that matters, it's how much you do with it. And like,
Yes.
sure, I shaved off a bunch of my lifespan and maybe I'm going to die at like age 35 or something, or maybe even 30. I don't even know. But like I did more in my like 20 to 30 years of life than a lot of people do in like 120.
Yeah. And people can live to be really old in the One Piece
Exactly.
world. So, yeah.
So
He's 100%
that,
gonna
I
die.
can see that happening. In fact, I've actually seen like basically the theory that I keep hearing because like I don't know if you ever saw the interview with Oda where Oda was talking about how he knows in his head what the final panel, not even just the final chapter, the final panel of One Piece is going to be.
Mhm.
And like I tend to think because Log Town it's named after Prologue Town, Prologue and Epilogue, and it's called the town of beginning and ends. So the prologue happened there, the chapters right before he went into the Grand Line. And I imagine the epilogue of the series will also take place there, because if he's going to follow in the footsteps of Roger, he might end up back there getting executed just like Roger did.
You see, I don't see him getting executed.
But do you think, because if he's going to die, would you?
No.
think he'd do the
I
same
see
thing
him
where-
dying.
No,
I do honestly see him dying, but I just don't feel like Luffy wouldn't be. I just don't feel Luffy's that kind of guy.
I feel like they have to go back to Log Town though, because
They will go back to Log Town, but I don't feel he's going to be executed. I think he'll die. I think he'll die before they actually have a chance to execute him.
Yeah,
So
I suppose,
I-
and also like you'd think you'd want him to have changed the world by then. So why would he be getting executed?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I feel like Smoker would be the one to actually be like, come to him at Logtown, and then you'll just see Luffy just there smiling but not saying anything. He's just standing still, and then he knows that Luffy's died.
Yeah.
So I pitched this idea to a friend once, like when this fight was new and fresh, and it was like he's gonna die at the end. Like he would achieve being officially acknowledged and crowned King of the Pirates. And he's like sat on like the king's throne or whatever, just smiling with his hat over his eyes, and then he's just dead.
Die there. Yeah,
Literally like die there. And then like so my friend started drawing that, and then was drawing all the straw hats around him crying.
Oh,
Because it's like he is Luffy doesn't need character development because he is an agent of change. He has brought change into the lives of everyone else around him.
Yeah.
So all of those are going to go. Everyone else is going to go through character development. He's going to help them achieve all of their dreams along while achieving his own, and then it's going to be like, right, he's done. Because once he's achieved his dream, like, what's there to do? Like, and I think it's.
Have you seen the fan art of Brooke being the last Straw Hat alive?
Oh, that's so brutal.
Have you ever seen
so,
fan art?
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's true.
So good.
It's so true, though.
Yeah,
it's so tragic as well. It's so tragic as well for Brooke, because then that'll be two crews that he's lost as well.
Exactly. But the thing, he will outlive Laboon as well.
Oh, God.
He will outlive Laboon. So
he's gonna get to a moment where he's got like no one.
Yeah, well, he'd literally have to kill himself.
Oh my God!
Oh my God, Sid, you're making me cry.
He won't, because it'll end and everything will be happy.
Yeah, we're not going to see this, but
we're not going to see this, but everyone knows it's happened. Literally, everyone knows that's what happened.
All right, very cool. Next,
but yeah, we never found a place for it.
Magellan,
it was all right. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it was. I like Magellan. I like that fight. It was.
I think he's a really cool character too, because he's not like, he doesn't feel evil like a lot of the world government people. He just feels like a guy doing his job.
He's
just doing his job.
Yeah, 100%. He's just doing his job.
Like the moment where I really, really like the moment where it's stupid that I hate that Oda didn't show him in the manga. Like the fact that we only like hear him from off to the side is very annoying. But the fact that like he is protecting Doflamingo from world government assassins is fucking awesome. Because what that reminds me of so much is like in real life when you have like arguments between the federal governments and the state governments, at least in our country, right? Like you have the federal government will make a law, but then the state, like for example, federally in America, weed has been illegal for like a long time, but state governments keep saying, fuck you, we're making it illegal. And because of how our government works, state governments can supersede certain things with federal government, yada, yada. But that's what it feels like to me. We're like, Magellan is like, well, technically I work for the Marines, not the world government. And my job, as stated in the description, is to protect the prisoners, keep them in, and not let anyone in and out. So sure, you may be being sent by these celestial dragons, but I'm just doing my job, sir.
Yeah.
I really like that.
That's literally, I can imagine him saying that.
You.
Yeah,
like a government dog, like a lap dog, like someone who's just like blindly loyal to the celestial dragons would just hand him over. But the fact that he's not shows that he's a lot more. He cares about his job and like the reputation of the prison and all that shit.
Yeah.
Well, he's also been demoted. He's been demoted.
Yeah. He's the vice admiral now,
but he's still gonna do it. Like because Domino's,
he's such a good character.
I love how he eats poison mushrooms and it gives him diarrhea.
Oh,
that's so funny.
Right.
It's so funny.
Either of you read Dorohedoro or watch it?
Which one's that one?
Oh, it's a little bit more under the radar. It just got a Netflix anime a couple months ago. It's not like a shonen thing. It's like one of the more like under the ground webs or not webs, series. I'd recommend it if you want. It's a little out there, but there's a character that I think he would get along with Magellan. He's like a mushroom guy. Like his magic turns everything into mushrooms, and he like eats like poison mushrooms and shit. Yeah.
Nice. Oh,
anyway,
the Summit War as a whole, because
all of it.
Yeah, because
there's so many clashes in that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And there's no real one-on-one battle to complete.
No, you're right. It's all just a bunch of chaotic shit.
It's like absolute chaos. It was originally going to be. So I entitled this part Ace and Luffy versus the Marines till everything went wrong. Because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah, I mean, if we're doing it as a whole, I mean, it has to be God Usopp, right? Like the entirety.
Yeah, definitely.
It's completely.
Because in that you're including Whitebeard, Akainu, Whitebeard, Blackbeard,
yes,
Luffy, three admirals. Like,
yeah, it's just brilliant. It was non-stop fight. Like it was just so intense. It set up loads of things.
Of those situations where Oda like grabbed fucking future enemies and slapped them here in the middle of the story.
Yes.
Like I'm trying to think, it's one of those arcs that could only work in One Piece, where like he has taken the time to build up all these characters, so it means something when you get there. It's actually it's just like when you compare the MCU versus the shitty like DC thing that they tried to do. Like DC tried to rush to their Justice League like two or three movies in, whereas Marvel took like 10-15 years to get to their Infinity War, and that's why it hit harder. Same thing with One Piece. He spent fucking 500 plus chapters building up to this moment, so that when he brings them all together, it truly does feel like an Infinity War level event within One Piece.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, So yeah, as a whole, needs to go right at the top. We did it. We're now to the time skip.
Time skip.
Oh,
yeah.
Freaking hell.
We're almost there. We'll plow through.
We're
this.
almost there.
Right. Okay. So I'm not gonna lie. I sort of skipped the arc.
Ew.
So what happened was, okay, because I was getting
Island arc. Is it kind of low tier? Yeah. But
Well, the Fishman Island fights, they're really short fights because
they're really short.
they're
kind
just
of
stomping people. Yeah, but you got to have an
Yeah.
arc like that. I love shit like
Yeah,
that.
you do,
Post time
you do,
skip where
because
they're just
they've-
stomping.
because they've come back and they've come back from nothingness because they got wrecked, and they come back and they're like, actually, we're insanely powerful.
A lot of these
But-
are going to be low tier, obviously.
Yeah, a
that's fine.
lot of them. Like the thing is, right? So I was fed up of filler, and I was fed up of the anime like being
That's when
really
you
drawn
manga
out.
it, my friend.
That's what I did, but I didn't like. I just found reading it really chaotic, and I couldn't figure out who was talking. I hadn't got into Oda's flow, so then I went back into it. So I completely skipped what I thought was filler because I didn't look it up at the time because I'm not a smart man. I completely skipped the whole flashback with Sabo and stuff. So when he showed up in Dressrosa, I was like, "Who the hell's this guy?"
Oof.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
and
like for the
I skipped
future, I'm
through
sure
that.
you've learned by now, but there's an amazing website called Anime Filler List that just like
Yes,
beautifully
I've
breaks it
learned
down.
that now. I have learned that now.
Ooh. I hope you've since gone back and watched that flashback.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I know. I need
just do
to.
it or just read it. It's such an important flashback for the series.
I know. I really need to go and do
Super
that.
integral.
It's
Holy
like with
shit.
so I came back and I ended up watching bits of. I think I watched half of the Fisherman Island arc, and then I just went right. I'm going to go into reading it, and then so I read from that point on, and I was like, right, come on, I need to get into this, and I just freaking got into it. Now I'm not looking back.
All right, cool.
cool.
Well, yeah. So we can just burst right through these Fishman Island because Fishman Island is one of my least favorite arcs in the series. It's not bad. It's just kind of
I
Is it-
agree.
It's a bit of a shame because it was kind of hyped up, like you said.
Yeah,
It was like,
I
we're
know.
gonna Fisherman Island, and
There
plus
were good things in
Hody.
it. I really
Hody.
enjoyed fucking what was Shirahoshi's mom's name again?
Tahime.
Yes, her flashback was great. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the characterization of Shirahoshi and her brothers. I like that, they come in and they have their classic Oda One Piece quirks where one of them's singing, one of them's dancing, and then you come to realize later, oh, they're doing that because that's what they did to distract their baby sister from the fact that her mother died right in front of her.
Yeah,
I
It's
love
like,
shit.
oh.
That's very Oda, and I love that.
Yeah.
But fight-wise, let's just start with them and speed right through them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because I'll be honest, I don't remember much about this arc at all. Like
I
this is
do.
a very-
I don't either.
Yeah.
So Zoro versus Haimonzu, the octopus dude. I literally can't remember it in any way, shape, or form.
So-
Forgettable. Let's just do it.
Forgettable.
Literally,
Let's
yeah,
just-
literally
let's just
forgettable.
speed through
No,
these.
Now this was Sanji versus the
Sanji
big
and
fuck,
Jinbei.
Watsume. Yeah. Now this one I
Yeah.
do remember because I remember him like goading him into getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're still a little
yeah.
baby bitch, get bigger," and then he just skywalks up there and fucking kicks
Yeah,
the hell out of him. And
that
I'm pretty
was-
sure Jinbei helped as well in this fight.
Yeah, he did.
Jinbei
Now, what I
helped.
remember, what was cool about this fight is this was the moment where it was revealed that Sanji had Skywalk, and I, as a Sanji
Yeah.
fan, hyped as fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
And not
I
only
do
that, he
remember
got Skywalk from running away from the cross-dressers out of fear. This man activated Skywalk.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a really good point.
So this one, to me, we can slap it in at least great.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I would have gone average, but yeah,
What do you
of that.
think, Luke?
Because of that. community.
Well, I just think because literally it's so short, I feel like that holds it back. So I would have
Yeah,
put
that's
in
fair.
average.
The only reason I had said great was because of the Skywalk element.
Yeah, but
the
if you really think
Skywalker
about it,
was
it's
awesome.
more of a one shot that they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Frankie, I remember Frankie's being fun because this was the one where he just like revealed all of his toys, and like truly this fight was just the Straw Hats fucking around. Like he gave I remember Chopper and Usopp were in a tank. He was in his mech. I remember he had the hey, I have fucking tracking missiles. These missiles are gonna follow you everywhere. And then instead of the missiles following, he just like got the missiles on his shoulder and then chased the motherfucker.
Yeah. just mess it around.
So it was
Yeah.
truly just them trolling, which was beautiful. Is good. Another one I'd probably put at average. A lot of these
Yeah.
are average. They're
Yeah, a
fun.
lot of these. Yeah.
Cody.
Chopper versus
Oh.
Dotton.
Yeah.
I can't remember it. Literally can't remember it.
This was it
literally-
revealed that he could use Monster Point at will now,
Yeah, and literally it was just, I'm going to go to Monster Point, slap him, that's it.
which is fair because it's Monster Point. But also,
that's
I remember
Monster
people being disappointed, and like I kind of get it where they cutified up Monster Point, which is a shame.
Yes. Yeah. Do you reckon that Monster Point, this cutified Monster Point, isn't as strong as actual Monster
I get
Point?
the vibe, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
I
get
mean,
the vibe.
anger and rage will always make things more powerful. Like that's just that happens in real life too.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
that's
you're in
true.
full control, like you're not going to be as powerful as if you're like using. You're going to be smarter, but you're not going to be as powerful.
Yeah. I'd say this was below average.
Below
Or-
average,
yeah, I
because
agree.
again, it's another one shot.
Like
Yeah.
most of these are going to be. You know.
Then it
This Brook one I remember enjoying because this was the reveal of his ice powers. I like the chill of the underworld. That was cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
That was quite cool.
And the soul song thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
Brook's like because until now we hadn't seen a lot of Brook fights. This was like one of the first like 1v1 Brook situations.
Mm.
So he really got to break out a lot of his powers and shit like that. So it was cool. It was enjoyable. I like Brook a lot, but
I like how it's cold underworld. It's not like hell, which is fire.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
That's really unique as well. I was like, oh, okay.
Because of that,
Which makes sense because people often like when they see like when they feel like ghosts or spirits, they get a
Yep.
chill in the air.
very true.
Yeah.
And that makes
Yeah.
more sense of Brook's aesthetic. It's not like a demon thing. He's more like akin to like a ghost or a spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'd say average.
Yeah, I
yeah,
can go
I'd
average
say
on this one.
average. Yeah,
I'd go average.
There was a lot
Right.
of average fights in Fishman Island for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now
So-
Luffy versus Hody.
I would like to point out that freaking Hody is rubbish.
Yes.
Zoro took him out. Zoro killed him. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, Zoro took him out. The only reason he survived was because of those drugs, and then he ODs on those drugs, the freaking steroids, and then that's why he's a threat.
Now, part
And-
of me kind of appreciates that. Like, is he a boring villain? Yes. But, like, to me, it is very cool, and it definitely made the time skip feel real and relevant that the main villain was getting destroyed by them. Like, that was almost in a way satisfying. Like, some could
Yeah.
say disappointing,
Yeah.
but I thought it was a good way, in my opinion, to make it make sense. Where, like, this guy without, like, steroids is getting bopped by the Straw Hats because of how long they've trained. And with these steroids, barely even a threat. Like, as it's boring,
Yeah.
but also very satisfying.
Yeah. No, I see. It's like the Saitama fights, isn't it? Like you could get really boring with Saitama fights because he literally just hits them once and they die.
That's why
But-
you need Genos.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. I thought this fight was very creative, especially with like fighting underwater.
Yep, in the bubble. I remember he had to like
Yeah.
destroy the Noah as it was coming in, so he's like crashing him into that. Also, the introduction of Red Hawk,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
yeah.
this is the first canon Red Hawk, isn't it?
which makes
Yeah.
I still don't understand how Red Hawk works.
It's I would imagine that it's literally his hockey, his willpower manifesting as fire.
I suppose that makes
guess.
Yeah, because he has he has the will of Ace now.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
inherited will, isn't it? So, and it was underwater. He
Yeah.
freaking hit him with fire
The first
underwater.
use of his fire move is underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Average, great.
would this hint? No, you know what? Here, I'm looking at
Average.
Great.
I'd say
Yeah,
average.
no, it's not great. It doesn't hit the great. I don't think it does.
Yeah.
So
No.
average.
Like it's not as
Average,
good as
yeah.
Sanji Mr. 2. It's not as good as fucking Sanji Wanza. You're damn right. It's not as good as Sanji Wanza.
Yeah, but nothing's going to be as good as Sanji, or like most of Sanji's ones.
All right.
Yeah.
Now Zoro Monet. Is that what's next?
Yes,
Zoro versus
I do
Monet.
like Zoro Monet.
Oh
Actually,
yeah,
do.
it's so good.
and I suppose you can put Tashigi in this as well because she does a bit in the fight.
and I like Shigi a lot too. I hope she becomes relevant again.
Oh, Tashigi and Smoke are my favorite characters
Really? In the whole series?
in the whole series. I love the dynamic. I love Smoker as a character. How he's an antagonist, but he can see that he can see true right from wrong.
I do
a
love
lot of the
Smoker.
time.
Like his introduction, where it was done masterfully. Like when the fucking kid runs into his pants and like spills ice cream on him, and you think he's gonna be an asshole, and he's like, "Oh, sorry about that, kid. Looks like my pants ate your ice cream. Here, buy
Yes.
yourself triple scoop."
Yes.
Like that was such a good misdirection, and like that going into the end of Alabasta, where they're giving him the credit for beating Crocodile, and he's like, "No, I'm not taking this," and they force him to. Oh,
Yes.
so good.
Yeah.
And at the end of Dressrosa, where he's like, "Great, I'm glad that actually happened," when Fujitora was the one to actually say this was our fault.
Yeah, because the difference with Fujitora and Smoker is that Fujitora has the clout to resist orders from the higher ups because he's so powerful. Yeah. Love that. But so this fight, what's cool about it is it really. I mean, everyone knows what we talk about with this fight. It's Zoro cutting her, but purposefully not using Haki just to show what he could do to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Like, what a flex. Like, that's an ultimate flex. And that's such a cool way to use Haki where it's like, I don't even got to kill you. I can just show you that I could have just now. But I didn't. And now
I didn't.
Yeah.
So you're horribly outclassed. Just sit down. Like, look at you. You haven't even got a name tag. Just sit down.
And of course, addition onto that, I love Monet. I think her design is one of the best. Like, it's a shame she didn't have more to do because I fucking love Monet. I love her design. I love her Devil Fruit power.
And also going back to Monet's power, I've always wondered.
I know where you're going with this.
If Carrot got the
I love that. That's a teching theory, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like that theory a lot too. I really wish it would happen.
Imagine
I really wish it would happen,
Sulong, Carrot,
Snow
with the
Bunny.
Yuki on
Seriously,
Kinomi.
honestly, like why isn't like that needs to happen? Like it makes total sense. There would be no fruit on Punk Hazard. They'd all be dead or like crusted up by Caesar's weapon. The closest fruit should be one of Nami's tangerines. It makes so much sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
It
and
really
also, I just want to say, when Monet bites down on people and like it freezes them,
Copper do like or Carrot do like biting motherfuckers.
Yeah. But I was gonna say I wrote a play which basically had a character that did something like that, but it was like a white tiger.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the tiger bit people and it like froze them. That was kind of like the character.
So either way, I still hope that happens. I think that'd be cool if like the in between Wano and the next arc, like because maybe I don't know if he's gonna make Carrot a Straw Hat or not, but if
I think he actually has already done it, and we just don't know about it. Like when
way more screen time if she's a Straw Hat. I feel like she's just always in the background.
Here's the thing. That I'm gonna say. Carrot will probably say, "Luffy, can I join your crew?" And Luffy will say, "What are you talking about? I said you could join my crew way back, because she literally asked him at one point, "Can I come with you?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure."
Right. And that was, "Can I come with you?" Not join your
look
crew.
At, like past Oda arcs. Whenever he has someone join, they have like a really big character arc in the arc where they join. You know what I mean?
I mean, she kind of did in Whole Cake Island. Sort of.
A little bit. I mean, to me, you know what it's going to come down to me? It's going to come down to how much focus does her fight with Sparrow get?
And does she get a flashback?
It gets a lot of focus, and there's like multiple chapters devoted to it, and there's like a big
we've had the flashback with we've had the flashback happen already because we had it with Pedro dying.
Or she won't. So because a load of people want Yamato to join as well because they both want to go off and adventure together. Or if they're like, "Hey, do you want to go adventure together?" And they both just get in a boat and leave Wano, and then you have like the cover stories, and it's them going off on adventures.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. There's some. I'm just going to say there's someone that's done a video recently. Shonen Oji is kind of up and coming one that does One Piece and Dr. Stone reviews, but he did one on who would be the next Straw Hat, Yamato or Carrot. I'll link his video to you guys at some point.
That's cool. Where are we putting
up with that too?
Yeah. Where are we putting Zoro versus Monet?
For her, I think this one can hit great.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Now, Law of Virgo, I remember being very good.
Yeah, I did really enjoy that fight.
This is the one where he cuts the whole fucking mountain. Virgo is a really, really cool antagonist.
Yes.
He was quite powerful. Like
very powerful.
I felt like Law was like really kind of outclassed and then just gets it last minute.
Yeah. Well, didn't Law didn't Virgo have Law's heart at this point?
I think so.
Yes. Yeah, I think he did.
Which kind of made it even more difficult.
Yeah. And he had just destroyed Smoker too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy Virgo as a character too. I really liked his weird, because Oda loves his fucking character quirks. That quirk of him always having something stuck to his face to
so
like a
weird.
ridiculous level, like a whole fucking burger.
That was so weird. I was like, what the fudge?
No, that's so fucking funny, dude. Like,
It is funny. It was just also like,
One Piece
what?
characters always have like a thing. Like Brooke has skull jokes. Nami has obsession
Yeah.
with money. Robin has like overly depressing shit. She says. Usopp's got lying. The one of the ones I always think of is Dalton from the Chopper arc. He would always end his sentences with like a random, completely unrelated fact. Did you ever notice that? Like he would talk, he would be like, I think she lives in that city over there. I hear they like ice skating there. Or like, you're thinking of Kureha. Her favorite beverage is hot cocoa. Like he would always just like end every sentence with a random fact.
I've never realized
noticed
that.
that one. No,
Go
I've
back.
never
Go
noticed
back. I
that one.
promise.
Okay,
you.
okay, well,
That's
we'll have to go
hilarious.
back.
So so basically that's something that Oda likes to do, and I really enjoy that about Virgo. Like he's a super serious guy, and it's taking the concept of like, accidentally leaving like a piece of food in the corner of your mouth, but taking it to a stupid extreme. Like, I left a bit of, so instead of like, it's a little crumb, it's like I took one bite out of this burger and then the whole burger is on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was funny. It was
I think
good.
isn't what would you say Law's quirk is?
So
Yeah,
like he's
he
usually the
puts
serious
yeah
one, but
on
I always think of the I hate bread. But no, I think he honestly his in the world of One Piece, it is almost a quirk to be serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was gonna think, I was thinking that because there is that scene where he's on the Thousand Sunny, and he's trying to talk to them really seriously, and then they're only caring about Sanji, what's for breakfast?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
straight man. You always have to have one of those. And I also, one of my favorite scenes with Law period is when they fucking tie like paralyzed Chopper to his sword or his hat or both.
Oh yeah, it's to his hat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, first I think they did it to his sword first, and he was like, "No, he's not going to be on my fucking sword."
yeah. And I think my favorite Law moment is when Sanji goes black. Stealth black for the first time, and he's there just nerding out.
Yeah.
But
Like, oh my god,
acting
that's
so
from issue
serious.
17.
But acting
Yeah.
so serious about it as well.
I love her because he's like a huge because obviously Sanji and his brothers and sisters are essentially Power Rangers, the Super
Yes.
Sentai.
He's like, Jesus Christ, they're real.
It's like he's so fanboying. It's brilliant.
But
I
he's
totally
so
forgot
serious.
about that. I need to go back and watch that moment.
It's
in the anime.
so good. It's so good. I think this fight for me would be great.
I agree.
Yeah,
Or
definitely.
excellent. Great or excellent. Yeah.
Like a lot of post time skip just didn't reach like top tier levels until like very recently, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
like you
definitely.
have to have that emotional resonance.
Can I just say this fight now between Big Mom, Kaido, and the Worst Generation?
Well, that's why I
at the
said
end
so
of it,
recently.
that's going to be
Yeah.
in God Usopp at the end of this.
Oh, most
yeah,
likely.
yeah, definitely. Luffy versus Caesar.
So the only thing I remember about this is I remember two things. I remember Caesar like taking away the air around him and him passing out.
Mm.
That was kind of a cool thing. I remember Caesar's Gastanet ability, where it's a castanet that like makes
Yeah.
a spark and call. That was interesting.
That was cool.
And then the main thing I remember is the Grizzly Magnum was the move that took him out, and it was.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's really all I remember.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you're right.
that's all I
can't
remember
really-
as well.
I can't really remember. anything else.
I remember more of Caesar doing stuff in Whole Cake than actually in Punk Hazard.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Um,
like him becoming Gangster Gastino, which
Gangster
That's-
Gastino. What do you mean? Gangster Gastino is a different character, Luke.
yeah, what we're talking about.
It's
Just like Sogi King.
yeah.
Honestly, we might slap this in forgettable, maybe.
Yeah,
below average.
below average,
That's
because
fine. Yeah.
there are things
Yeah.
that we do remember about it.
It's basically, I think
was
he's one
fine,
of the
but
most
as-
evil
as-
characters.
As main villains go, they didn't really get good until Dressrosa and the post time skip, did they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, the thing is with Caesar, I think he's a really interesting character. He's definitely up until Doflamingo, like the flashback, and you find out what Doflamingo did to Dressrosa. I was like, Caesar is the most freaking evil villain I think I've seen on One Piece, because he's freaking experimenting and torturing kids, and it's like that's
Yeah, that's
freaking messed up. So I was like, he's evil. He's a massive dick, and plus he's just like, Big Mom gave me all this money, like to experiment on stuff. I'm just getting drunk and buying prostitutes.
Yeah, and yeah, for some reason, people want him to join the Straw Hats.
Yeah, I don't get that.
It's
I
very
don't get-
strange. Yeah, no.
I don't get that either.
No.
It's like, why? Just
Well,
because
didn't
you
you,
want
and Oda literally had an SBS where he said Nami would never forgive him. You remember that SBS?
yeah.
Mm.
Because there
And I
was a
can't
question where
blame
they were
her.
like, "Why are
I
they
can't
being so
blame
mean
her.
to Caesar?" Because there was that scene where they were like, "You're scum of the earth," blah blah blah, and then someone was like, "Why are they being so mean to Caesar?" And then Oda literally said in the SBS, he was like, "Please reread Punk Hazard. He is like awful."
Yeah, he's a horrible human
Yeah,
being. They would
that-
never ever let him on the team.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
True.
Like, yeah, just no.
So is this
No.
Luffy
Dress
versus
Rosa.
Hanji?
Yeah, so Luffy versus Chin
I remember
Zhao.
this fight being interesting. It's probably the best fight in like the Coliseum.
Yeah.
That's why it's in there, because it was just so memorable for the
I remember,
Coliseum
yeah, I
fights.
liked his connection with Garp. I liked the idea. I liked that he like re-pointed up his head. There was a lot of cool
was so
Conqueror's
good.
hockey clashing
It was-
going on.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like this is angry old man.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah, he's
it's
just
just
kind
like-
of going on a fucking rampage. Like,
it was just a really, really enjoyable fight, and it was just really fun.
yeah,
And it
that
was the-
I
it
agree. I
was
think
the
that's a
best
good way to
one.
put it. Like, no high stakes, nothing crazy, just very fun. So
Yeah.
average or great?
I put it in great because
Yeah, I put it in great.
again, there's a personal battle for Luffy here because it's for the battle for the Mero Mero no Mi.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yep,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But no, it's not Luffy. It's Lucy. We gotta
Yes,
do
Lucy.
it
Last
correctly.
time we
Lucy.
make this joke.
Oh man. Usopp
well-
versus Sugar.
Usopp versus Sugar.
Okay. So I do
Okay.
like. It's
Let's
hard
go
to call
with
it a
both
fight.
times.
I suppose it is. It's a lot of like technicality shit going on.
It's a Straw Hat taking out, or it's a big villain being taken out.
True,
Yeah.
true.
And you
true.
want to talk about
I suppose you're including the part where he like shoots through like the window and shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to include that, but also the beginning part where God Usopp shit happens.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the Tontaras are basically just fanboys for Usopp.
Usolando. So I remember obviously like they're doing a lot of sneaky shit trying to get her to like eat a spicy thing, yada yada. And I really just love how Oda did the twist there where like she feeds it to him and his face is so terrifying that she passes out. And because of that, he literally becomes the MVP of Dressrosa. Like I love that.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I could just imagine Sugar to this day just being like, please
Literally
don't-
traumatized. 100%.
Yeah.
literally-
Yeah.
which she deserves because you want to talk about evil villain.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'd argue
Okay.
she's more evil than Doflamingo.
She was, I mean, certainly up there. I mean, Doflamingo ordered her
Because
around.
think about it.
Okay.
Because think about it. Sugar is the reason why a woman died and didn't remember her husband.
Yeah, for sure. Doflamingo,
That's
ordered her to do
dark.
it. But, like yeah.
Yeah, that's dark. But Doflamingo like killed his dad, his brother.
But
he-
It's like who's more evil, the assassin who kills a motherfucker, or the person who pays him to?
person who.
That's well with Doflamingo. You've got to argue you've got to argue of like the situation he was put in because he had a perfectly, well, I wouldn't say perfectly good life, but he had like a life that he was comfortable with, and then his father took him into that life where basically
What Oda did by having Roshinate along with him was show that like it wasn't just like he wasn't made evil by his backstory; he was born evil. Like
Yeah,
that was
good point.
agree with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you have to. Yeah.
And that's
'cause
not
he's
something
done-
I agree with in real life. Like I think that most of what a person is probably like their life circumstances and shit like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But what Oda is clearly going for with his flashback is that you have two brothers. They both had the exact same life, and one turned out to be a very good person, and one didn't. Because
Yeah,
people
good-
react to trauma in different ways. I've seen
Yeah,
people
good point.
become incredibly nice people from trauma, and I've also seen people become hardened, horrible people from trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Completely
point.
agree. Completely
So
agree.
anyway, with the Sugar Usopp, I think with God Usopp, that was I remember reading this arc when it was coming out, and that was one of my favorite. Like that was like that part was so good, it like reinvigorated my love for One Piece because I was just kind of reading it like whatever, and then that God Usopp shit happened, and I was like, this is amazing.
Actually, you know what? I think I was watching this, and I was still watching it at this.
The
point.
Dressrosa anime was so badly paced.
You want to know how?
Yeah, it was.
You want to know how badly paced it is?
God, I don't.
It's longer than the anime adaptation for Your Lie in April.
It's a terrible show.
Assassination
There's also
Classroom
more
and
episodes
Death
than there's
Note.
chapters for Dressrosa.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because like if you go to the anime filler list website I was telling you about, most of the episodes cover like half a chapter instead of a chapter. Like it'll be like pages 2 to pages like 13 or 14 when there's like 19 pages in a chapter.
Because they've just padded everything.
And it's crazy because doesn't Dressrosa the entire arc happen in like 2 days?
Probably wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to know something like that, you want to know something that blows my mind every time I hear it. From Ichigo defeating Grimmjow, the third fight with Grimmjow, to Ichigo defeating Aizen is all one afternoon.
Really?
Never thought about that, did you?
Good point. That's a really good point.
That
I've
blew my
never
fucking
thought
mind.
about
No,
that.
Oh my word.
never like a next day, like
Because
Yeah.
I guess I was just so used to like the final arc actually taking place over multiple days.
yeah. Well, it's just something you assume until you sit down and think about it. Yeah, like Ichigo. Grimmjow, Ichigo Ukiura, Ichigo leaving Ukiura to go into the fake Katakura Town arc, and then all the Aizen shit. It's one afternoon.
Wow.
Holy
Stupid.
damn. That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, to be fair, I think Kubo did. It was all very Deus Ex Machina-y, but like
Yes.
at least power scaling wise, it wasn't like he just beat Ukiura then Aizen with his own power. Like Ukiura, of course, was the full hollow mode, which that at least was foreshadowed. And then,
Yeah.
of course, you had the massive Deus Ex Machina for Aizen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to Usopp versus Sugar.
Just for everything that happened, God Usopp. Don't put it in God Usopp. Sorry, to clarify, God Usopp being part of it. I at least excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
I can agree with that.
Excellent, yeah.
Now, is it Bartolomeo next?
Yeah, Bartolomeo.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. It on the list itself, it's Frankie versus Senor Pink.
Oh, this is classic. This is what
Yeah.
we all agree. This is amazing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously, like Senior Pink was one of those characters that everyone was like, "What the fuck?" until you saw his flashback, and then everyone
Oh yeah, that
universally fell in love
flashback.
with.
That flashback freaking got me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be like if you're gonna pick if you're gonna put top 10 saddest One Piece flashbacks, that's gotta be in the top 5.
That was
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
And then, like, of course, you know, that was one of the best Frankie fights we've seen in a long time because we hadn't gotten a lot of good 1v1 Frankie fights. The just the antics were amazing. The whole like eating tomatoes and like ripping
Yes.
with bras off to use as napkins. Like, what the fuck? It's
Yeah.
so weird. That's a moment, by the way, that I'm very nervous to get to with some of my female friends. Because how do you watch
Shojin.
that with someone?
Yeah.
Like, I promise he's got a really tragic backstory.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just show them the Super Eye Patch Wolf video.
Which one?
The appeal of One Piece, where to start.
Oh, okay.
Because he
No,
does
I'm
go.
more
He
meant,
does
like when I get to certain moments, like
Yeah.
moments like that, where there's just like low-key sexual assault happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say,
I mean,
sorry,
it's okay. They
Sangetsu.
like it.
I mean, they're consenting, so technically it's not sexual
He's just
assault.
so hard-boiled.
Yeah.
Um,
So hard boiled.
but yeah, you know, I think it's a great fight. I really like his swim through the ground ability. I like
I think
Yeah.
it's excellent.
going on the fight of manliness going on, the mutual respect that they both have for each other. The
Yeah.
kind of like we're gonna out manly each other. It was fun. It was a very fun battle.
I'd say it's an excellent fight. And
I can agree with that.
Definitely.
One of the better fights post time skip.
Yeah. On the list next is Zoro
Zoro.
versus Pika.
Yeah.
This is a really good one because obviously, like the launch, everyone remembers the moment where he gets thrown and like launched into him, which is great because I love that Luffy has a form where he can fly, Sanji can fly, Zoro still can't fly, and I fucking love that Oda never made Zoro be able to fly. So like even now, like this like recent chapters, he's got to ask Law to get him up there. Like I love that about Zoro that he doesn't have some like flying ability.
Yeah.
It was good.
This is the moment. To this day, this is like Well, I don't know. You could argue that maybe the feat where he's cutting off the horn of Onigashima's is a bit. It could be comparable, but like I would argue, it's either the best feat Zoro's ever had or the second best if you're counting the Onigashima one.
Second best?
I'd say second best as well.
I'd say second best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like until like the last 3 chapters, this was like Zoro's biggest feat like of all time.
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah,
shit-
definitely.
The amount of shit he's cutting in half here is insane.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, this is
And
when you see. Go ahead.
And also, you can't talk about Pika without talking about his high pitched voice.
So funny.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
Because it's like you don't expect it coming out of him.
You should though. That's the thing. By now we should expect this stuff,
Yeah,
but we don't.
we don't.
It's just-
Have you
funny.
guys seen Tekken do dub of Pika?
Oh
as
yeah,
like- yeah.
I have. Oh, that's great. But yeah, no, I guess for me, I mean, it was a classic good ass Zoro battle, a very, very anime being launched into the air and having like, I'm going to cut him in half and then cut him in half again. And I'm going to keep trapping him in the certain chunk of stone until I can fucking full cut him. That was great. The flashback with Mihawk, learning how to make his blade into a black blade. Really cool
Yeah.
stuff. Dressrosa to me felt like the arc where that was the first arc where they were finally challenged again. Because post time skip, they were
Yes, definitely.
steamrolled through
Yeah.
Punk Hazard, they steamrolled through Fishman Island, and then Dressrosa was like the one where, okay, we're finally equal with our opponents again. So
Yeah.
a lot of cool stuff came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
So,
what do you
Great.
think? Great or excellent?
Great.
great,
I think.
definitely.
Yeah. I think great. So Luffy versus Bellamy, the second
Okay,
fight.
you guys can.
I'll
deal
be
with this
honest.
one. I'll be
I don't-
right
there's
back.
a lot of battles in Dressrosa that I don't remember very well, and this is one of them.
Yeah, so because I was tempted to put the Luffy versus Bellamy first fight on, but that was a one shot. Like he literally was bouncing around.
This
And
one
then he-
also one shot?
This one also was a one shot, but like he got loads of hits on Luffy, and because he's learned hockey, he's actually hurting Luffy. And again, it's a clash of their ideologies. And well, the first one is a clash of ideologies. The second one is a clash of like loyalty versus ideology, I guess. Because he's like, I'm going to be made someone, and then he just gets freaking taken out in one hit. And the first fight, I literally had to pause the video and I nearly wet myself. I was laughing so hard because he's just bouncing around everywhere.
the first one shot in.
The first one
Jaya?
shot. Yeah. Just freaking hits him into the floor. I was like, nearly wet myself. I was laughing so much.
In the library.
No, this one was at home.
Well, that's good.
This was home. Then this one, I was a bit like, I think it's because of the pacing of the Dressrosa anime arc. Like you said, it got drawn out, and I got really bored. I
Right,
was like,
whenever he was springing around for way fucking too long.
yeah, just way too long. I was just like, okay, fine.
That's also the problem with Dressrosa for me was that like that arc is very awkward, and I'm gonna have to reread it because like for me, my experience of the Dressrosa arc was I think a lot of people did this like halfway through the anime and then halfway through the manga, so it's very like choppy.
Mm. Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm
I
back,
don't
sorry.
know. To me, this is forgettable actually.
yeah, I'd say it's forgettable.
So Luffy versus Bellamy, forgettable.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Right, I'm gonna pop the loo while you guys do Sai versus Laoji.
Okay.
Laoji.
I'll be honest. That would also be a forgettable for me.
Yeah. The only thing I remember, actually, I just want to read Songetsu's comments.
Yeah, please do.
So, Double Fingers, Defo create the spy stuff that line. Classic One Piece anime, 5 minutes of Gatling. I think that was the Rob Lucci thing. Stop making me sad. Oh, from Brooke, find out probably what will happen to him in the future. I'll check it out. Ew, Skipper. You mean Luffy versus Noah?
Yeah.
Why not both? Have no idea what that's all about. Chopper, keychain, one of my favorite lore moments.
Oh yes, I love the Chopper keychain.
Hard boil.
I've seen figures of that shit.
Yeah. Oh, you've just reminded me of what's coming in a couple of months' time.
What?
Gen figure from Dr. Stone.
Hype.
Yep. And Hard Boiled Man Battle, it certainly was. And Pika Pika!
Yeah.
Pika Pika!
Chica.
What is your favorite One Piece laugh?
Me?
Yeah.
Honestly, we talked about it before, but probably it's
My
really
fa-
fun to do. you
Yeah,
know?
my favorite is what's his name? Jaguar D Souls.
Dara Shi. I was gonna say that's also.
Dara
up there
Shi.
for me. Dara Shi. That
It's-
one's good.
yeah.
I gotta think.
Whoa, ha, ha, ha.
Those are the two that come to mind for me, honestly.
Kaido.
Oh, I love
Whoa.
Big Mom. Big Mom's is great. You know, the mama.
Mama.
Yeah, no, I think the ones that always come to my head though are just because it's the ones that like I really noticed and watching through the dub because I did watch through a lot of the dub. A lot of them they just didn't even bother doing unless they were like very out there
Unless they had significance, because Jaguars did.
Well,
have
yeah, they of course did
significance.
Jaguars because that was very important. But I remember they did Moria's as well. Moria's was really out there, so they did it. And I remember like it was just the guy who did it went so hard, like you could feel his like voice breaking, like
Yeah. And the Blackbeard's one, see,
oh yeah, that's another great one. Yeah,
which they're gonna have to get a new act to do that now because the dub act for Blackbeard.
I know
died.
that's so sad. He was such
Yeah.
a good dub. I loved his
And
voice.
did you hear the guy who voiced Leorio in the suburb? Yeah, he died, so they're gonna have to get a new guy to do Byakuya for Dr. Stone now.
Did he do? He's the one who did Byakuya.
He did Byakuya and Dr.
Oh,
Stone,
wow.
the guy who did Leorio in the sub. So yeah, they're gonna have to get a new guy to do that now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we were just talking about our favorite One Piece laughs. What's your favorite One Piece laugh?
Hold on, I had one. I think it was Moria's.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Yeah,
Kishi, the best.
It's just it's so simple and effective.
You know what it
Yes.
is for me, especially the dub. I don't think I watched much of the sub in that arc, but for the dub, no, I definitely watched the sub. I don't remember, but I just remember both the dub and the sub. The actors went so fucking hard, like you could hear their voices, like.
Love it.
Especially when he's like getting just beaten by the end, and he's doing like his bloody battered TCCs, and they're so fucking like gargly. But yeah, honestly, a lot of these Dressrosa ones are going to be unforgettable for me because that was such as Dressrosa. There was a lot of fights with a lot of like low tier people that he had to fucking not low tier necessarily, but like forgettable people because he had to set them up for the Grand Fleet. And of course, that my experience with this arc was very choppy. So yeah, honestly, Lauji, I don't remember much of it. Do you, Sid?
Nah, not really.
The
I
only
remember
thing-
Lauji being a really funny. So
I just remember him do it with a G.
Yeah, and I liked how it's like, oh, Sai, this random dude is fighting him. Like, why isn't it a Straw Hat? What's going on? But then, like you said, it's setting up for the fleet, isn't it?
The relevance of Sai to me is that he got what the
Baby
fuck's her name?
5.
Baby Five.
Yes, he got with Baby
I
Five.
love,
you know?
I
That's-
freaking
that's-
I
that's the-
love that. I
That's the
literally
only
love
thing I
that.
remember about that fight. It's like him going, "If I beat you, I'll marry her," and she's like, "Oh!"
Baby 5 is fucking delicious, bro.
I
Yeah.
mean, she is just
mm.
I mean, she's nothing on Robin for me.
Yeah, that's
but,
fair. Yeah.
But yeah, she's brilliant.
Honestly, one of my thinking through the
I think the
One Piece
tragedy
girls,
of
I
Baby-
really like Perona and I really like Koala.
Oh yeah, Koala.
Oh, Koala's back. Oh, that gets me.
Yeah.
Koala's
I like
back.
that you get her backstory in the Fishman Island arc and then she becomes relevant in Dressrosa. I love that shit.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Oh, but just the fact that it's okay for you to cry, and it's just like, oh, that hits you in the feels.
So yeah, go ahead and put Lauji in Forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, Baby 5, like, what were people's problem with her? Like, she got abandoned by her mother. Like, what was her problem?
I
I
Baby
didn't have a
5.
problem with her.
I think she's fine. Honestly, I don't think I have an issue with any character in the show apart from Kobe.
I don't even have a
Why?
problem with Kobe because Kobe has developed a lot. Like in the beginning,
I mean,
sure, but like
he's-
now,
yeah, he's-
Kobe's kind of a badass.
I mean, yes, he's a badass now. He's developed loads, and there's going to be a proper Kobe versus Luffy fight, and that's going to be awesome.
He goddamn torpedoed himself towards that submarine the last time we saw him.
Plus, he's the one that they sent to take out Boa.
That's hype.
Which
Like,
you know,
we're not going to see it, but we need to see it.
We need,
No, you know what's
exactly.
gonna happen. He's gonna mention Luffy, and she's gonna mention Luffy,
True.
and they're gonna become best friends, and he's gonna
And then they're gonna hatch a plan. Like, listen, I don't
Yes.
gotta take you down because
Yes.
you promise me you're gonna be an ally to our cause because we're working on something here at Sword. We're working underneath the world government. We're trying to
do you
decorrupt the
think-
Marines.
Do you know what? That's actually a really good point. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. Do you think Garp was the one who created Sword?
Yes.
Like,
Garp doesn't seem to give a shit enough to me. Like, he seems really content with just like chilling and being like kind of a
But
neutral.
here's the thing. He knows what's going on with the world government, so he probably invented Sword during the time skip to keep an eye on things.
I think it's either Sengoku or like Aokiji, personally.
Okay, I don't think either of you would have seen it, like Red especially wouldn't have seen it. There's a British show called Line of Duty, and it's basically it's about police officers, but it's a unit of the police that's an anti-corruption unit.
Yeah.
And so basically Sword is the anti-corruption unit.
Yep.
But
yeah, definitely.
But the thing is, it's in British like, because obviously like, we had loads of corrupt cops. Then loads of legislation happened, and so now it's like, yes, there are still corrupt
bad
cops.
over there. Come over to America.
Yeah, you've got it. Like, but I think our cops were as bad as yours, and then because there were so many like beatings to death in prison cells, they brought in lots of legislation. Now it's like so unbelievably by the book and like strict and stuff. So this is an anti-corruption unit of the police created by the police for the police, whereas Sword is, I'm assuming, it's secret from.
Yeah, to me it seems like they're going underneath the official orders of the world government and probably even Akainu. I don't know. People like to say that Akainu's part of it. I just don't see it, unless I suppose you could go down the path, because I know Akainu is a little annoyed with the Gorosei. We saw that in Dressrosa.
But, I've just realized something. Do you think like whoever created Sword found out about Insama?
That'd be cool.
And that's why that's why they created Sword.
I don't think that's that. Maybe I don't think they necessarily need
I
think the corruption is so obvious.
Yeah, I think no one knows about Im apart from the audience and the Gorosei. Like I don't even think the Celestial Dragons know about him.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, the Celestial Dragons are just idiots. Would you trust idiots with information like that?
We do with our government.
Yeah, true. Which is why my ultimate theory about what the secret of the world government is that the Celestial Dragons today are not related to the original Celestial Dragons. They're just like a bunch of random rich people
that were given the power and said,
yes,
we're the Celestial Dragons now.
Certainly possible.
Yeah, because what else would be the big secret?
Bartolomeo.
Yeah, Bartolomeo versus Gladius.
So I like Bartolomeo a lot, and I also this was the guy that had like the pop fruit, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked his design. I liked his character. Dressrosa is so foggy to me. I just don't remember much about the fight, but I do like both these characters. Do either of you remember anything?
No, not really.
So basically, I remember like you said, I really liked his design. I thought his power was interesting.
I remember I wanted to cosplay him when I first saw him. I like his design a lot.
What I loved is the Bartolomeo basically makes his own version of Luffy's attack.
Yes, Bartolomeo as a character is phenomenal. Like this fanboy shit is so good.
What I want to know is, why is he known as a cannibal? Because it's Bartolomeo the cannibal, isn't it? And
I assume he eats people.
Well, no, I think it's a lie. Because if he actually ate...
I don't know. Wait a minute. So when he was introduced, the joke is that he's like a fucking awful person. Like he came out and he was like the scum of the earth. He was literally pissing in front of he's awful. So I genuinely think that, much like Boa Hancock, he's like an awful fucking person, but he just loves Luffy so much. That's the vibe.
Is Boa an awful person?
Yes.
She's a bitch.
Yes.
Yes. Do you not remember the scene where there's a kitten in her path and she kicks it?
Oh yeah, good point.
Don't you remember the scene when he took someone's tongue and was threatening to cut it? I believe that was him.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's like a horrible torturer guy too. So I genuinely think he probably has eaten people. Like probably one of the reasons he has a bounty. If that's his name, I would guess one of the reasons he has a bounty is because he's fucking eating people.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I didn't know if they'd go legit with it.
To me, that adds to him. The fact that he's like. To me, that adds to him the fact that he's like a cute little fucking teddy bear around Luffy and the Straw Hats, but he's like a fucking ruthless cutthroat to anyone else. It's fucking hilarious to me.
So he's like a literal pirate, like he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think my favorite dynamic is him and Cavendish because it reminds me so much of Zoro and Sanji's dynamic.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see the Grand Fleet fucking interacting more.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
But yeah, no,
I
for this
think-
fight, I just don't remember enough.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not. I'd say.
You can do below average if you want.
Yeah. No, I probably would say forgettable, but I'd move forgettable above bad because
Okay.
bad,
that's a good point.
bad you remember it, but you think it's trash. Whereas
Okay.
forgettable, it's like it was good enough, but not decent enough to remember.
Okay, fair enough.
I like that.
Yeah.
There's only according to us, there's only 2 bad fights in the whole series, which is very true.
This
Now,
is true. I mean, what's
Crayon-
the curve looking? The curve's looking pretty solid for excellent, good, and
Yeah,
average.
look at that
So, yeah,
curve.
yeah, that's a good curve.
Yeah.
That is.
See, this is very scientifically accurate.
This isn't the kind of curves I'm used to with because I play Magic the Gathering, so I have to like lay my cards out in a curve to like get the mana on sync. I don't know what it's like with Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, but yeah, this is all right. This isn't mid-tier
Alright.
deck.
So is the next one the fucking Robin and Rebecca versus whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah, Diamante and
So I
Cryon
do remember a bit of this fight. I remember Robin, like using her arms to like stop something from falling on Rebecca. I remember liking Diamante's power a lot. I really thought that was
flag
clever, like
fruit.
the freeze,
Yeah.
like turn shit hard, and then like it was the flap fruit or the flag
It's
fruit.
the flag fruit. I
Yeah.
think so. We can,
So I like
Yeah.
his powers. I remember liking this fight. But again, just Dressrosa is such a foggy area for me. So at the very least, I remember liking this. What do you guys think?
yeah,
Uh,
I'd say average or below average.
Below
I'd
average?
say below average.
Yeah.
I'd say below average.
Yeah. I just want to say thank God we didn't have the Cali Funk jacket fruit.
Hey!
Right.
Well, he didn't even. Yeah. I honestly, I love the wacky shit so much. It's so good.
Now we'll
It's-
get now the big one.
Right.
Lucifer's Doflamingo.
Okay. I'm slightly angry because you know how we were saying earlier, like how Brooke probably should have been the one that took out Ryuma because it's his shadow and stuff.
Mhm.
Law is the one that really should have taken out Doflamingo because it's like he killed his like dad essentially, like his
True.
adopted dad.
It's one of
He's
those
the one who's
things
got the
where-
vendetta.
It's one of those things where we don't, is Oda's a great writer, but would he break shonen tradition that much, like where the main character is?
Well, it's also like technically, you could argue that Nami should have been the one to take out Arlong.
exactly
but
like
she can't.
that's
Yeah.
just Oda
Luffy
thing. Like,
takes
I don't
it.
think
Yeah,
Oda is interesting because he both breaks traditions and sticks to them hardcore. Like
Yeah.
when it comes to the main character defeating the main villain, it's always going to happen essentially.
yeah. Yeah.
But no, I mean I think this fight's phenomenal. This is easily one of the best fights post time skip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
This is
Yeah.
Luffy versus Doflamingo. That's the main one. You
Yeah,
have
the
this
main one.
amazing tag team shit going on with Law Luffy in the beginning. I remember very clearly watching this in the anime. Like getting up and screaming when they did the thing where he's going to punch Law and then Law switches places with him and then Law's sitting in the throne and
So good. That was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
screaming.
And also-
that was my Super Bowl, like touchdown, motherfucker.
It was also Gear 4.
Yeah, and then of course,
Yes.
Gear 4th, that shit got so anime again, fucking plowing
It
him
broke.
from like
It
one side
broke
of
the
island
sound
to the other.
barrier.
Essentially, fucking like I know it wasn't the whole island, but you were very close to like cutting that island in half with the force that you fucking knocked Doflamingo down.
Yes.
Yeah. It
So
was
to me, I don't think this is God Usopp. I think this is God though,
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
which will help our curve out too.
It did go on too long, but then that was because
The
like
whole
you said, it's the
countdown thing,
pacing.
Yeah.
it's the
And
pacing.
also, Doflamingo was like was built up to be really strong up until this point. And this proved like just how formidable he could be.
Such a long build up for Doflamingo. He got introduced in Jaya. I love that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a very powerful villain. Very powerful.
What we got here?
Luffy and Nami versus Cracker.
I like this fight a lot.
Yes.
Like
I got bored
really,
of
like Nami felt really important in this fight. Like, and it
Yes,
was
yeah.
it was a support role, but like Luffy, we saw like plain and simple, Luffy would not have won this if it wasn't for Nami. 'Cause those
exactly
crackers were too hard.
100%. Also, he had to go into Gear 4 to beat Cracker.
Yeah, which is great because even though he's like seemingly like among the narrative, seemingly like a low tier one of the commanders, he's still a commander. So the fact that like Oda respected the commander enough to like give him a full fight was great.
Yeah. Plus his ability is kind of freaking. It's one of those moves like, I'm just gonna clap my hands and make indestructible biscuits.
Yeah,
That
and
can
it's
also
perfect
somehow
for Luffy.
create teeth and flesh to pretend that I'm a person. Because the actual
Well, I think it was just like colored really. Like, have you ever seen? You remember the meme that was going around recently where it was like everything is cake?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, like you with confectionery, you can make shit look hella real. So I just imagine that these crackers are like really fucking real looking.
Cracker's final design when he breaks the fake one and it's like the real one underneath, and it's like his hair's on fire.
I liked it.
It's sparking. It was so weird, but I did enjoy it, and I thought.
I mean, that's why I like One Piece. I love the weird ass designs.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I think that the joke there was that he had like, I know it wasn't a firecracker, but like a sparkler in his hair, like cracker, like a firework thing. I assume is what was going there.
Yeah.
But and I liked his dynamic. I liked that he was like one of those like I can't stand pain characters, so I hide away in here. We got to see the fat version of Gear Fourth. Very unique fight where like basically for like 8 hours straight, he's just eating his crackers.
Yes.
And then Cracker, I remember Cracker even was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, I make more crackers, you eat the crackers. I make more crackers, you eat the crackers. I'm going to lose my mind.
It's just a war of attrition at that point.
It really was.
And again, it's perfect.
So yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. Like, this is one of those fights that I like a lot because it doesn't, on paper, it doesn't seem like it'd be very important narratively, but Oda took the time to write it, and it was very good. So to me, this sits probably excellent.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. And you're right. Like, I don't think Luffy would have actually won if it hadn't been for Nami.
Easily, yeah.
All right, Sanji versus Judge. This is an emotional weight fight.
Really short, and not a lot happened. The main thing I remember about this, it was cool to see because obviously Judge looks at Sanji like you're the weak one of the you're the runt of the litter, you're the failure, yada yada. So for him to like show him like, yeah, I got hockey, I got this, I got that, I can fight. That was satisfying. But the main thing I remember is just like the moment where Judge just like snaps his fingers and like calls over his dudes to be human shields for him. That was the big moment, like the wow moment for me in this fight. I was like, oh damn, he's one of those.
Yeah, it's. I rewatched this one because I was like, does this count as a fight? Because obviously he doesn't like he does. It's a scuffle. It's not like a fight.
And they lengthen it in the anime too.
Yeah, and it's. I think the video I watched was like 3 minutes long.
Yeah,
like,
it is really short. In the anime, like there's maybe like 2 or 3 clashes.
Yeah.
I mean, again, what I really enjoyed about it was just Sanji's chance to be like, hey, I may not have your stupid fucking scientific augmentations, but like I learned hockey by myself. Like,
that's why it's included in this because it's the emotional weight behind it. Yeah, and this is Sanji's big villain.
Probably below average though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
Chopper and Carrot versus Brule.
This one was certainly unique. I remember, them dangling above the soup, like about to be cooked, and then the monster point fucks her up. Brule was weird. She really was going for that like Wicked Witch aesthetic.
Yeah, which is weird because she's not the oldest.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Brule as a character. Had such a cool 180. Like at the end of the Katakuri fight, when you
oh my god, yeah, Oda making me feel for Brule.
Yeah, like Brule is actually kind of awesome. I really enjoyed that. But this fight in particular, to me, forgettable.
Yeah, it's forgettable.
Yeah.
Hello.
Now,
sorry, you guys cut off for a second. Still there?
It's forgettable.
Okay,
it's forgettable.
Next is Luffy versus Sanjay.
Oh. Wait, what happened first? Big Mom Brook or Luffy Sanji?
I don't.
No, I think you're right. I think it's Luffy Sanji.
All right.
Yeah, because I was scrolling through the Wikipedia list of arcs and
really enjoyed Luffy versus Sanji.
Yes.
Especially in the anime. So they fucking hammed it up in a good way. The animation's really good, the motion's really good, and even in the manga, I could literally go back to my Facebook page and find when Luffy or Sanji kicking Luffy, that shot in the manga, I made that shit my cover photo, and it was my cover photo on Facebook for a long time. The lighting from the Diable Jambe, everything, getting knocked out. that it was amazing. I remember reading that chapter. I was lucky enough to read that chapter when it came out because I this is around the time I caught up with the manga. I caught up with the manga around this time, and it was so exciting. So just because it definitely does not hit the level of Usopp versus Luffy, which is the best.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Probably at least excellent.
Excellent. I can agree with that. Because the thing with this fight, Luffy doesn't even fight. Luffy doesn't even fight back. Much in this fight,
but it's good though. I would have wanted it to be different. I wouldn't have wanted it to be the same as the Usopp one.
Yeah. I agree. But at the same time,
this is a clashing of ideologies, and they're getting their points across different ways. So Luffy's like, "I'm not fighting you to get my point across."
Yep.
And Sanjay's,
Now, Brook versus Big Mom.
So here's the interesting thing about this. In the manga, it's not a fight. It's one panel.
Oh, really?
Yes. The anime like literally created this fight.
Yes.
Now, that's okay because the mere concept of this fight is because I love it. Like, because Brook is so underrated and people don't like appreciate him enough. And he is the perfect foil to Big Mom with his devil fruit is just amazing. And that panel in the manga, god tier. It is bullshit that wasn't a fight. I'm glad that the anime added something to it. So just on pure concept alone and what we got in the anime, I could put it at average or great. But like just I love that fight. That pair up is a really cool pair up.
Yeah, I would say great because I enjoyed it because you're right. Brook is massively underrated. It is a great pairing because of his power, like because their powers clashing. And he didn't have a snowflake's chance in hell.
It's also really cool. Like if you asked someone around the time skip was starting, hey, who do you think will be the first Straw Hat to fight a Yonko 1v1? They'd be like Luffy or Sanji or Zoro. Brook, like that's amazing.
Yes.
And then she keeps him as a pet, like a little cuddly toy.
That's so stupid, but it's so awesome.
So yeah,
so good.
So great. Or can we just say it right now? Gotta do Sop.
Yeah. Straight up there.
Literally, not only is it the best fight in post time skip One Piece, it's a contender for the best fight in One Piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys because I feel like I do a lot of the talking. I'll let you guys start off, and then I have things.
All right. The reason why this fight would probably be a contender for the greatest fight in One Piece because it's like Luffy at this point. It's made very clear he doesn't stand a chance against Big Mom. So it's like, okay, who's the next best person to fight him? And it's like I love that Oda
gave him a really believable opponent because obviously he's not a Yonko, but like a Yonko commander. That's great.
Yeah, and not just any Yonko commander, but like the top tier Yonko commander, the one that has over a billion buried bounty.
You can see the future.
Yes, he can see the future.
He's got so many cool things. Like as a character, you can always tell when Oda's like, "Oh yeah, I'm putting a lot into this character." He's got the thing where he flicks jelly beans. That's phenomenal. I love that.
That's so good.
Observation hockey to like flick it where you're gonna dodge to. Love that. His introduction where he's just sitting there all cool, flicking the jelly bean up and down. Love it. The Moji thing, amazing. And it just all comes to a head when
I love how
of the donut thing.
I love how when that was first introduced and they're like, wait, so is this a Logia fruit? And then Oda has to no, it's a special paramecia.
Yeah, that got retconned.
Yeah. Like, basically, what's so cool about this fight on an emotional level is that like they have this cool understanding because Katakuri, of course, as you see through his flashback, he went through life like I don't care what anyone thinks of me, but then he realized, but that will get people that I care about hurt. So I have to put on this like facade of being super serious and super untouchable and like the perfect untouchable god of a person. And that kind of permeates throughout the whole family to the point where the lie has become bigger than him. He can't even sit down in front of people, or he can sit down, but he can't let his back touch the wall.
He can't lie down.
Okay, right. So this is the thing. So you know that they all hype him up saying like when he was born, he literally got up, walked, and sat down in a chair. Yeah. And then he's never laid down since. And so Tekken's reaction to that was like, okay, I guess that's impressive. And like, I thought that too. I was like, okay, that's kind of a bit weird. But then like, since having a child, my son's actually like he's developing really fast. Like he's speaking faster than any other. Like he's got a cousin who's older than him, only by like a few months, and he's more advanced than his cousin. He's holding a pen and writing with it like a 4-year-old. Like 4 or 5-year-old. He's really intelligent. So for a newborn baby to come out of their mother, stand up, walk, then sit down, then never lie down, that is insane development. Mental.
I was like, why?
Well, I mean, yeah, no, but it's insane physical and mental development.
Why? But that was all fake.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. It was all fake because Brule said.
The whole point of this fight was that it was like all a created story because he was trying to bring because remember you see the turning point of this story of this fight rather is when he opens up like that veranda that he has and he's lying on his back being a slob eating donuts like, oh, I love me some donuts, right? And like he's a human just like anyone else. He has his vices just like anyone else. And I think what really fucking sold it for me, not only is this fight just phenomenal on like technicality levels, like or technical levels, you see so many cool moves. I really like I don't remember what it was called, but there's a move where he like shoots off his fist. He like hardens his mochi fist with
clear mochi,
and then he like blows air into his arm and shoots it like a fucking gun. You have spike mochi where he's got like the same thing but spikes at the end of it, and he like fucking clotheslines you. His spear where he's twisting it by like twisting up his arm and then letting it go. He's basically was like the I'm your fruit but better. So already from that level it's great. But then when the fucking what was her goddamn name?
Flampe.
Yeah, when Flampe comes in, it's a whole other level because you have her like, oh, my favorite brother. She's just like so hyping over him. I'm gonna help. And the second that he walks over, stabbed himself. I remember reading that fucking chapter.
Yes.
Yeah.
When that happened, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God, like that was amazing. He's like, don't you fuck with this fight. Because he's had this thing with Luffy. And then from there, where they both look at each other and he's like, fucking peanut gallery's getting a little loud. Why don't we do something about that? Boom. Kakurasaki, they're out. And then like Katakuri throughout that fight realizes this kid that I'm fighting respects me more than most of my family does. Definitely respects me more than my own mother does.
Yeah.
So character-wise, phenomenal. Fight-wise, I would argue some of the best choreography and moves we've ever seen. Snake Man was amazing. What a concept. Changing the direction of the arms, everything. Probably the best fight in One Piece.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely agree with that. And also, the longest fight, like just in terms of chapter length, definitely the longest. Because it went on for like 20 chapters, didn't it?
On and off, like a lot of it was on and off, where he'd like switch back to them running away from Big Mom, switch back to that, switch back. So yeah, if I would, I'd be very interested if someone like combined it all and got rid of like the cutaways and then just had that fight. I'd be curious to see how long it would be. It would probably at least 10 chapters.
Yeah. Definitely. But and I love just the aftermath of this fight where you have Brule just coming in and being like, and he's like, Brule, you've known I lie on my back, and she's like, yeah, of course, I've been watching you, and he's like, like blushing with embarrassment.
I remember too, like there was something where it would like, I don't remember, was it like I think did Oda do a thing where it was like, oh yeah, because it was like, oh, everyone else voted me the best sister, but Katakuri didn't. And then like later people were headcanoning basically like, oh, he voted for Brule as best sister.
Yeah. Because they've got that. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we're still here. Yeah,
we're still here.
Oh, I cut off hardcore there.
It's fine.
That's all right. Yeah, no, you're right. Like they've got that special like brother sister relationship kind of thing.
Yeah. So
and it is
the emotions. That's the classic One Piece. Like the emotions are high, the fight's high. It's so great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the stakes are high.
Like for a recent character, he easily shot his way up to my top 10.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, he was just so badass.
Yeah.
So look at our fucking list. I like it. What a beautiful list.
Loved it.
This is good.
This is good. This is
good.
good.
Save a picture of this and send it to me if you please, Luke.
I will.
You can save and download it, can you?
So the
best I can save it and download it.
One Piece. Usopp Luffy, Luffy Lucci, the whole fucking Kuma shit, Which one's that? Oh, the Pacific, the war, and then Luffy Katakuri.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. That was long as fuck. And
That
I had
was
to go to the bathroom for the last hour, so I'm gonna go do that.
That's got to be one of the longest that I've done
Yeah.
on tier lists.
Yeah. This is why I was like, let's only keep it pre-time.
No, I wanted it to be. I was like, fuck it. If you're gonna do it, go all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. I was like, pre-time all of it.
And I've got like future potential lists, but that when that happens, that'll be something to consider, because I've got like Bleach captains and lieutenants.
Oh, I would
like,
do that in a heartbeat. I probably have more knowledge of Bleach than One Piece. Like
Sanpokto's Sternritter. Like, I definitely want to do the Sternritter one.
Oh, I'd love to do the Zanpakuto one.
Oh, yeah. So that's the end of this. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you for joining me, guys.
All right. Peace out.
So
I'll definitely do more with you. I don't remember if I've met you before, Sid, but if not, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hello. I am on the Discord, but I don't really use Discord much.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's lovely meeting you.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk again.
Yeah.
So with that, peace.